to What's Up Guys, Sweet Apoc, Eric and Jeff in Wisco. What's up guys, hope you are well. We got Theo over there on Rumble. Good evening. We got Mr. Mission Control on YouTube getting ready to roll. Yeah, everyone got sucked in the Matrix but us, I guess. Maybe not. Let's find out. Let's press some buttons and do some things and see how this goes. Yeah, we're down at James tonight. He says he wasn't into it, so we'll catch up with him later, but here we go. I appreciate you guys being here. Troubled Minds happening right now, starting the radio stream, and here we go.
But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, DLive, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight, well, I don't know, inspiration's a funny thing, right? As usual, I try not to kind of front load shows and try and plan things, because sometimes you see one little thing that inspires the hell out of you, and sometimes you're not even sure why. It's sort of like the muses give you a visit during the day, during some downtime, or even when you're busy. It's a ridiculous thing. Like, how do you quantify human inspiration? It's a difficult thing. It's been talked about for ages, and it will probably still be talked about for ages yonder. However, the idea of the muses in particular has always struck me as something incredibly interesting, because not only were they sort of the inspiration, let's say conduit of the cosmos and the human ideas, and again, dance and playwrights and jokes and you name it, anything that inspires humans to sort of shout back at the cosmos. The muses were sort of the intermediary as part of that. And so I guess you could say in a way to honor the muses in that capacity and to sort of give these ideas up to human inspiration, I'm sort of allowing myself to be manipulated by whatever's out there, trying to avoid the propaganda as much as possible and see where inspiration comes when it comes. It's been, sometimes it's hit and miss too, by the way. Sometimes I'll show up and just my performance will be a stinker sort of thing. But whatever, it is what it is. And so it's worked so far, at least to this degree. I have a hell of a time most nights, and I hope you guys do as well. And so tonight's, here's where the inspiration struck. I was just kind of cruising through the news cycles as usual, as I usually do, and considering ideas and, looking at things a little bit differently than most people do because, well, I'm a weirdo. And two, I think that we're leaving a lot of ideas on the table if we don't do that. So it's my job to sort of look through this and bring the ideas into a conversation. So the phone line is down tonight. Again, we got some problems here. I'll fix it over the weekend, but I've got some ideas how to fix it. But everything should be working. The Discord should be working. Everything else, the mix and everything, and the music and everything's good, other than the phone line. So no phone line tonight, but we will be taking calls on the Discord, and in a moment when we get to it. But I saw this article, and there's a few of them talking about this exact specific thing. And the headline is this, and this one's from the BBC.com. Our friends there, funded by the American taxpayers, and the shout out BBC. You're welcome for the money. But anyway, all politics aside and all jokes aside, planetary alignment 2025. This is what it really means when 7 planets line up in the sky. Now, that's the wild part here. So it's not just, let's say, a celestial alignment. This stuff happens all the time. Maybe not this particular one, 7 planets visible to the naked eye in the night sky. It's kind of cool, right? It's one of those things that if you've never seen it, it's interesting to go out and kind of take a peek if you're able to, sans of clouds in the sky or whatever. But it's odd to me because as many of you know, I'm not an astrologist by any measure at all. I just it's one of those things when people bring up astrology. In the past, I've always scoffed at it and thought, well, this seems like nonsensical tarot card, mumbo jumbo medium style stuff. Okay, and I guess that's a perfectly valid take. But also there seems to maybe be something to this the more I think deeply about it. And, well, let's get to it. Let me read a little bit from this article just so we're on the same page here. But so stargazers will be treated to a rare alignment of 7 planets on February 28th. And that will be, of course, just a few days from now, 3 days from tonight, when Mercury joins 6 other planets that are already visible in the night sky. Here's why it matters to scientists, this article says. So, blah, blah, blah. The 8 major planets of our solar system orbit the sun, blah, 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 flat plane, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this all happened at the same time. And the cool thing that kind of struck me as part of it is that this is not going to happen again until the year 2040, we're told. Okay, and so yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to find a nugget to pull out of here that's interesting that you guys might want to hear. I don't know. You know how the BBC writes? No offense to the BBC, but hey, put a little spice in here, a little hot sauce sometimes. It's ridiculous. But anyway, okay, anyway, just to cut it to the chase, again, I'm not an astrologer. 7 planets in the night sky, naked to the visible eye. That's visible to the naked eye. Strike that, reverse it. Is wild, right? This is one of those things where it just doesn't happen. We don't have all these planets out there all the time. But the thing that struck me, like I said, most was the 2040 thing. And so right now we are in that quickening, as I'm always describing. We're in this space of the age of Aquarius, which does come into play here as part of the astrological alignment stuff. And let's say these larger and longer human cycles that we talk about. And so the wild part of this is, so if this is happening now in 2025, February 28th, we're told, you'll be able to see all 7 visible planets in the night sky at the same time. The wild part is it won't happen till after the AI takeover, till dystopia or utopia, depending on whose version of the future you trust, right? And so is this that turning, like that final turning point that these celestial alignments sort of bring in a new age, a new era? As they say, the age of Aquarius has been happening, it's sort of not you can pin down a single date and say that damn day is when the age of Aquarius happens. It's a larger, ish sort of cycle, and you can't really say exactly the day. I think there's a lot of different mathematical assumptions or other ways to look at it. But you get what I mean, is it maybe, just maybe, if we're talking about this in terms of the turning of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, then suddenly we might have the day where this is going down, right? Not only do we have the AI quickening, we're always talking about the quickening of not just, let's say, events on Earth that seem otherworldly, that seem alien, that seem, well, just downright odd, okay, with news cycles and propaganda and all the stuff we're talking about, hyper reality really becoming a thing. But also, now we have this particular space, February 28th, 2025, where we have this celestial alignment happening that is decently rare, won't happen again for 15 more years. But after this, is this the last time? And so basically the question is this: is this the last time we get this alignment in the age of Pisces? It's Pisces, right? I think we're in Pisces. Maybe if I'm wrong, I don't know. You guys correct me. Like I said, I'm not an astrologer. Whatevs, you guys let me know. But I do know we're moving into the age of Aquarius. And is this the day? Is it 3 days from now where the turning happens? Because there's, again, as always, a lot of chatter about artificial general intelligence, artificial super intelligence. And then what does that look like? 5 years from now, it may be a completely different world entirely. So is this the final moment and the celestial great wheel temporal inflection point, as I'm always talking about, where we get to put a pin in it and say, that was the day the age of Aquarius occurred? You get it? I don't know. So that's the question as we begin. And I got some more stuff to talk about, of course, because this gets more wild the more I think about it. And hopefully the more you think about it. But basically the question is this to start. What do you know about astrology? And is it possible that this might be the final time earthly eyes, pre-singularity, stare at this particular planetary conjunction? Seem too dire, too weird? Maybe it's post-Star Trek, and maybe 15 years from now, we're on these planets. Who really knows, right? So use your imagination on that part. But anyway, so we're about where we need to be. Give me 1 minute. We'll be right back. Get a word from our sponsor. In this case, it's Human Inspiration. Do not go anywhere. More Troubled Minds coming up in exactly 1 minute to talk about more of this. And I'm about to get even more weird and wild, as you might expect. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening in 1 minute. Be right back. In a world increasingly shaped by AI, human inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable. So here I sit, locked in my room again. Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support human inspiration. Available now on iTunes. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? Now, so this planetary alignment again got me thinking in terms of, could this be the last time? Okay. And of course, with the turning and with the quickening and all the things and, the singularity, possibly a technological singularity on the horizon, maybe this is the last time sort of a pre-transhuman batch population worldwide gazes on the stars with our own eyes, with human ideas, with human emotions. Okay. And again, it might sound a little dire, but it depends on how you view the transhumanist stuff and where we're headed. And maybe we do get to live forever. Maybe they cure all the things. And, I don't know, like that, all that stuff is scary. And we've talked about that quite a lot, but you get what I mean. And it is kind of easy to sort of romanticize a moment, okay? To say, that Eagles song, I like that Take It Easy, right? There's a line in there where he says, we'll never be here again. And he's trying to hit on this chick or whatever, right? But, kind of making it cosmic for a dreamy moment to get her in the sack, right? However, it's a poignant thought. All that other stuff aside is that this moment, no matter what, will never be here again. Well, unless you believe in the trillion-year universe where everything repeats itself, and maybe we'll be here again in another 10 trillion years or something. Who really knows? But you get the idea. So to romanticize a moment is easy. However, I think that this is not frivolous in the sense that I'm just going, well, here's a particular thing. Because it seems like these convergences are happening. And again, if you're paying attention to the patterns, maybe, just maybe, this is it. And maybe this is the final moment that humans gaze upon the night sky in this exact particular planetary alignment scenario where we're not post-human, transhuman, some combination thereof. Okay? Like I said, maybe a little dire, maybe a little not. But it got me thinking about not just, let's say, like I said, when I started tonight, I was talking about astrology as, hogwash nonsense, something people do and talk about or whatever, and it just seems silly. Well, I'm not so sure, because if you guys recall, there's this little thing called the what is it called? Hold on. I got you 1 second here. There it is. It's called the doorway effect. Okay. And we've talked about this, had a few shows on it in the past, over the past several years. But this is from Scientific American. And let me make the case. So why walking through a doorway makes you forget? Scientists measure the doorway effect, and it supports a novel model of human memory. And I did talk about this the other night, a couple nights ago on the Discord. Thanks again for the friends that jumped in there and helped me do the audio test. We yucked it up for a little bit and hung out and talked about some of this stuff. But think about this. That doorway effect, again, going to the kitchen to get your keys and you forget why you're in the kitchen, so you come back out. It's that threshold. You pass it and your brain has sort of this soft reset, almost as if we were built for it. And I did make the case, and I'll make a larger case on this eventually, where maybe the pyramids or some of these ancient megalithic structures were built with these columns, these massive columns, for some sort of ritual doorway effect that cascades as you walk through one set of columns, the next set of columns, the next set of columns. I believe it's at Karnak? I'm not sure exactly where the place is, but that's for another time. I'm not talking about that directly tonight. It's more indirect. Because if you think about it in terms of that doorway effect and how it has that effect on human consciousness and our cognition of where we are in the moment, and even you could argue that it creates altered states in us, that I do wonder if there's some version of that that's cosmic. Okay? So hear me out on this. Meaning specifically this. If there's a cosmic doorway effect, then astrology in and of itself is not pseudoscience or some nonsensical thing they do at a circus or a fair or whatever. Instead, this becomes something quite a bit larger in terms of worldwide human cognition, including things like a golden age or the dark ages or, something like this. Maybe it's not like a turn of let's say a murdering bastard raiding, through Asia or something and, killing millions of people type of thing. Instead, maybe there's something in the air that's brought to us through some sort of cosmic celestial pattern. Okay. Through something, again, just scaling out this idea of the doorway effect in that sense. All right. So again, a couple things in play here. And what do you know about astrology? Because like I said, I know very little about it, but I do think that you can make the case many different ways that it affects us. And some people really believe that and, check their horoscopes and follow all that stuff. Anyway, shut up, Mike, yada, yada. That's where we start tonight. And this gets weird. Okay. So the precession of the equinoxes, Earth's 26,000 year axial wobble, might function, in this case, as a grand psychological threshold, okay? The large count calendar, the long count calendar, the Baktunes, as we always talk about. As our planet's orientation to the stars gradually shifts, collective consciousness undergoes subtle recalibration. This is theoretically. Again, all the disclaimers apply, no truths to be found here, just ideas, throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks and what makes some sense to you guys. Anyway, the transition between astrological ages, Pisces to Aquarius, I think it is Pisces now, right? Yep. Potentially triggers massive cognitive resets across human populations, explaining the mysterious simultaneity of cultural transformations across disconnected regions throughout our history. And you can look at this in a lot of different ways, right? Specifically the pantheons of the gods the world over, different time spaces, different parts of the world geographically, and they definitely echo each other. There's definitely this sort of human resonant energy that we build into these pantheons of deities. Okay. Anyway, so these influences, the larger wheel in particular, in this bigger context of the doorway effect of the cosmos, likely operate through several theoretical mechanisms undetected by conventional science. Remember, all theoretical stuff. Quantum coherence in neural microtubules may respond to gravitational wave patterns generated by celestial bodies. We talked about that quite a bit. Shout out Eric. He's brought that up a couple times recently as well. The microtubules as part of that quantum consciousness aspect. Our geomagnetic field fluctuating in response to cosmic positioning potentially modulates brain activity in ways too subtle for current instrumentation. For instance, dark matter. Distributions of dark matter might create invisible cognitive scaffolding that structures human thought differently as Earth passes through varying densities during its celestial journey. And so, like I said, I'm not so sure about, it's Tuesday in July or something, and that means something. You know what I mean? It might. It just depends, I guess, on the alignment of the planets and all the rest of its stuff. And I've told this story before, and I probably tell it every time we talk about astrology, because I'm not an astrologer and not a pro at this, obviously. But when I was a kid, I remember I had a babysitter that was telling me about the end of the world was here. It was like, it was probably like 1983 or 1984. I was real little. And whoever it was saying there was some sort of a cosmic astrological alignment with the planets or something that was going to cause some level of pressure on the Earth and then just explode the Earth into a million pieces or whatever, right? And I was like, when I was like, I was literally like 4 or 5 or something. I was very small, and so I remember thinking about it, right? And like just kind of trying to imagine what that looks like, sort of in the planetary space of the knowledge I had back then, and then I thought, I was like, you don't say it, right? Because you don't talk back to your elders or whatever. At least, Generation X doesn't typically. However, I remember thinking that kind of sounds like it's nonsense. It sounds like somebody made that up, right? And of course, come to find out later that there was a particular theory. I don't know what it is. I can look it up if anybody knows. But that she was right. She was at least right that there was a theoretical concept where maybe there was something to that. But again, to the non-BS mind of a very young person, you kind of have that intuition that kind of cuts to the bone, and you're like, it sounds like nonsense. Anyway, I thought it sounded like nonsense. But so the point is, in the larger context of not just this conversation, but of course, actual planetary alignments and astrology itself, is there something more to this? And again, something as yet immeasurable that maybe, just maybe, with enough data, as we talk about the quickening with AI and sort of granular data points funneled into these big machines or these very smart machines, eventually this type of stuff that seems ridiculous to suggest, as pseudoscience, really becomes something that we need to pay attention to. And certainly the elites of the world, we've talked about this quite often as well, with high magic and sort of ritualistic aspects happening in particular time spaces, as if you had to do a certain thing in a window of an opportunity, because if you didn't, it wouldn't have maximum effect. You get what I mean? And so it feels almost as if like that old priest class is, once again, maybe theoretically here, maybe, just maybe, they were onto something through intuition and practice. And something like this, sort of in the granular sense of historical data points, maybe with enough of them, you can sort of sniff something out like this, where a golden age or the dark ages was maybe based on some sort of dark turning in an astrological sense. And not entirely, but let's say contributed to a particular era. All right. I don't know, just an idea to throw out there just as part of this. But anyway, so back to this. So ancient cultures, of course, encoded this awareness in their mythologies, as I just said. The striking parallels between pantheons worldwide, we got divine twins, cosmic trees, world floods, represent not cultural diffusion, but shared neurological responses to the same cosmic stimuli. Okay, you get it. The hero's journey, the Carl Jung stuff, the archetypes. Again, history doesn't rhyme, or it doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. That whole bit, we've done shows on that as well. But anyway, so gods themselves might personify the psychological states induced by specific stellar influences, their mythological interactions mapping the interplay of cosmic forces as experienced by human consciousness during celestial procession. And I'll leave it there. That's from the write-up here if you want to read it in full. This one's a really good one. I used the new Claude for this, and it's smart. It thinks, and it's smart, and it's mostly factually accurate, and it doesn't hallucinate. They've done a good job with that. So I'm more apt to say, yeah, this is probably legit accurate than some, sloppy hallucinating thing that might want to call you names or whatever, right? Because there's those models out there as well. But anyway, so the question, of course, is tenfold. There's a lot of questions here. The first one is, what do you know about astrology? And are you like me, like, 5-year-old me, where you think about it and go, or 7-year-old me, however old I was, and you think about it and go, it sounds like nonsense. Or do you think that there may be something a little more to it in that capacity? Because, like I said, the more I think about it and the more I learn about human consciousness and things like the doorway effect and how we are very easily manipulated by even some of the most mundane things in our life. Of course, propaganda I always talk about as part of that. But it seems like maybe, just maybe, there's something here that we're missing. And so my question to you is, what do you know about astrology? 2, does it feel like we've pinpointed the exact day of the coming of the age of Aquarius, which would be 3 days from now. February 28th, 2025. And what about this cosmic alignment stuff and the great wheel here? Is it, I don't know, is it compelling? Is it interesting? And what do you know in terms of, well, we'll never be here again in this moment. I guess we could go a little time as a flat circle as well if you want to do that. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on this. Phone line is down. I'd love to hear whoever's got an idea. And I've got tons more, of course, to get to. Read the write-up and you can get ahead of me on that. But what do you think? I don't know. There's a lot to this. And as you know, I'm not an astrologer. It's not my forte. And as I even make fun of myself talking about it, I'm like not even a dime store astrologer. However, it seems like there might be something here. So what am I missing? What are you missing? What can we talk about together regarding this? And do you really believe that these planetary alignments have something to do with the future at all? I read the phone number, but it's down. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere. More on the way.
In cosmic waves, we float through the night. Stars all align with our dreams taking flight. In silence, can you feel the pull as the worlds collide in this cosmic dance where our hearts reside through distant realms? We search for the light, illuminated paths reflect our inner fights. In silence, can you feel the pull as the worlds collide in this cosmic dance where our hearts reside? Dark skies, voices intertwine, echoes of the universe, in harmony we shine. In silence, can you feel the pull as the worlds collide in this cosmic dance?
I kind of like that one. What's up, guys? Hope you're well tonight. Gaston, what's up, sweets? We got Daryl, APOC, Eric, Under Nature, Boniface B. We got Don, Joey, Jeff, and Wisco, and MJ. What's up, guys? I see you there. Raz, Theo, Hiker over there on Rumble. Hope you guys are well tonight. Doing the thing, hanging out. Who else did I miss? If I missed you, just say hi. I'll say hi back. Yeah, North Vixen is here. Good evening, guys. Thanks for being part of it. I don't know. Astrology or nah? Really becomes the question. To boil it down to that. And I don't know. I'm split. I think maybe, but also I think maybe not. I don't know. Maybe set me straight. Celia's here, Mr. Mission Control on YouTube. How you doing? Matt's out. Yeah, just read the Farmer's Almanac, right? It kind of tells you everything you need to know. It's almost like reading an old spell book. Ioxy's here. Good evening, guys. We got Carla. What's happening, folks? Hope you were doing well tonight. Who did I miss? The good nows. Who's that? Smoke Dizzle. I see it. It's giving a different name on the Discord. Anyway, as it translates through. What's up? Good evening. If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back as we go. Love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you know about this? Is it the Farmer's Almanac style where old wisdom seems to sort of shine through? Anyway, here we go. Trouble Minds happening right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking astrology. What if ancient myths weren't primitive superstitions, but precise recordings of how celestial forces shape human consciousness? Could cosmic radiation carry quantum-encoded information that our brains process unconsciously? All manner of things here, of course, including, of course, the synchronized rise and fall of isolated civilizations might hearken at a larger cycle that's not necessarily, let's say, the human headspace, but a cosmic human headspace, which is why I'm calling this tonight, of course, of celestial clockwork, cosmic cycles, and human perception. Because as very, very smartly stated in the chat there, Mr. Mission Control, they were talking about AIs hallucinating in the chat there for a second. And Mr. Mission Control said, well, Mike, what if it's all a hallucination? What if, I mean, life is but a dream, right? Here we go. I don't know. As part of it, of course, human perception is one of those things. It's very easily manipulated, and even manipulated by ourselves against us, sort of weaponized against us for who knows what reason. It's one of those mysteries of neuroscience yet, why we can't really create a perfect simulation of what reality actually is. Of course, we have those reality tunnels, as I like to talk about. Everybody sees the world just a little bit different. So why? Why is that? And do you think it has anything to do with more of a cosmic alignment than social pressures or any of the other things we talk about, those control mechanisms, or anything? As usual, we can take this conversation wherever you like. If anybody wants to jump in here, I'd appreciate it very much. Hop on in. Yep, row your boat. Exactly right, Matt Sal. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. The phone number's down. Yep. Phone number's still compromised. I'll fix it this weekend, and we should be good to go starting next week. Or maybe I'll try tomorrow. But the problem is when you start tinkering with audio, like you might get one thing working but break two other things. I don't want to do that because then it'll compromise the rest of the week. So we'll limp through it this way and just do Discord. So yeah, I'd love to hear thoughts. If you got an idea and want to jump in here, join the Discord. You can go to troubledminds.org and just click the Discord link on top. I don't say this enough because I know the people that listen completely know what Discord is, but it's a chat client. It's a voice client. It's completely free. And it's it works on your phone, it works on your computer, all manner of things, not just let's say Macs and iOS. It works on Android. So it's all inclusive, and it's a chat room, and you can talk in voice, how we take phone calls and all the rest, and sometimes we're chatting in there on the weekends or even a weeknight here or there. But anyway, so troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, pop on in here. Love to hear your thoughts on this. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to tackle this, and like I said, some of these celestial alignment things, my intuition from a young age told me it was nonsense. However, like I said, the more gray hair I achieve, level up, maybe I was wrong. And so, as usual, that's really the basis of a lot of these conversations, is me sort of questioning who I was, okay, and the things that I thought I knew. And that becomes the weird part. And like I said, when you look at this in the sense of, ancient tradition and ancient ritual, it sure seems like the priest class had something locked into that capacity where they knew a particular thing at a particular time was especially powerful. And so is that nonsense? Is that magic? Is it some sort of a deep magic from the dawn of time? Like I always talk about, shout out C.S. Lewis there. And I don't know, maybe there was something to those things and those larger cycles. And 26,000 years is a long damn time. Yeah. So anyway, just to look at some of the brainstorming here for a second and give you some other ideas. One moment, please. The new Claude is fantastic, by the way, if anybody actually uses Claude by Anthropic. But anyway, so as I started, so the celestial procession and this doorway effect, these ideas kind of come together in the cosmic movements, create psychological thresholds in the collective human psyche. Not just one, but all of us, sort of that noosphere of ideas that we're always talking about. Similar to how the physical doorways reset memory and perception, okay? So you see what I mean? It kind of makes a little bit of sense to me, just scaled out. Another thing, too, as part of this, that quantum consciousness and cosmic resonance that was in the beginning of the write-up there, quantum coherence in neural microtubules potentially responds to gravitational wave patterns from stellar bodies, modulating thought processes. And maybe, I don't know, like I said, if we can't really quantify the dark matter stuff and the dark energy and all the things that are out there supposedly manipulating the cosmos itself as those placeholder ideas. Shout out Matt in Colorado for bringing up that term, because I love it, and he's right that maybe there's something out there that is maybe slightly agitating or perturbing, not just, let's say, the consciousness of an individual, but the consciousness of entire societies over a temporal space, including bringing about, as I stated earlier, the Golden Age, or bringing about the Dark Ages, or even sort of a liminal space between historical records where, well, maybe there was something 25,000 years ago that has completely been erased, not just by the precession of the equinoxes of the 26,000 year span, but also in the larger context, maybe it's built in that way. And it's why maybe it's part of that great filter, is, why we're not multiplanetary yet. Who knows? Who really knows? Just some musings there. I can go back to the write-up, or if anybody's got a take here, love to hear your thoughts. I'll take it nice and slow until we get calls here, because like I said, it's a difficult thing to do all by yourself. And so I'll play another commercial in just a second. Let me catch a breath and take a swig of beer here. But anyway, so back to this. So the global practice of precisely tracking the celestial movements speaks to their perceived importance, going back to the shaman of old and those old rituals that seem to be timed and tuned perfectly for these particular celestial spaces. Structures like Stonehenge, the Mayan calendar, and ancient Egyptian temples demonstrate extraordinary astronomical precision, not merely for agricultural timing, but as sophisticated technologies, quote, technologies, for maintaining beneficial alignment with cosmic influences, which seems very woo, seems very, aligning society with the gods, or the will or the whim of the gods. But folk traditions and seasonal rituals likely evolved as distributive cognitive tools for in training human awareness with helpful stellar patterns. Again, from the write-up, while providing protection during challenging cosmic weather. And that's a term that came out of this as well, is the cosmic weather. We talk about weather patterns on Earth, but as we know, as the Earth and the entire solar system moves around the Milky Way galaxy, we're in different spaces. 65 million years ago, the dinosaurs were here, supposedly 67 million, whatever, and we were in a completely different spot in the Milky Way. Okay. And so that is a great example of what this sort of cosmic weather might look like, because we don't know what that area of space actually is. And is there turbulence in those as yet unknown in modern times areas? Who knows? Or some magic, some fey magic sprinkled into the void. Who knows? And of course, I'm making a metaphor joke there, metaphorically, but maybe, just maybe, there's something out there that kind of does rock the boat from time to time as part of that cosmic weather system. I don't know. Does that seem like it fits or not? Click the Discord link. I'd love to have you on the show, and let's do it. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. Thanks for putting your hand up, brother. Always Johnny on the spot, and always great stuff to say. Welcome to the thing. How are you tonight? And you're on Troubled Minds. Just click the thing and do the thing, and welcome to the show. Good evening. Hello. It is Tuesday.
What's going on, Mike?
Chilling, man. Just doing the thing, hanging out, having my bros back me up. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for popping in here. How are you, sir? And,
yeah.
Appreciate it. Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, I was just going to start it off tonight. I really didn't take too many notes or anything that I usually do, but just wanted to add a couple things. So for me, when I look at it, when you have cosmic alignments like this, planetary alignments, I'm pretty sure there is things happening, from my perspective anyway, because when the gravity pull of each planet, even though we're a far distance apart, where, some places where the planets are actually kind of getting closer together, but depends on their spin, where they're at. They could be aligned in a further part from the sun or whatnot. But even though, to even think about that, with all the gravity pull on each planet and all of them in one, in one in session, just one line. That's got to cause something. You know what I mean? Not only on the planetary, earthquakes or whatnot, more volcanic activity or even stuff like that, but even DNA change, where you're kind of talking about tonight, it's going to change something. It's going to take change some fauna, flora. It's going to affect something. It has to. On that level like that, when it's like almost a perfect harmony, if everything's in or it could be chaos, because maybe each planet is not vibrating where it's supposed to be, or because I know this planet, the way we're taking care of it's not doing, I'm pretty sure this vibration's a little off. But speaking of some of that, like celestial studies have been done on like civilizations on the planet throughout time, right? But it was caused by solar activity. So like, more sunspots, solar flares, stuff like that. That's when they went back, through time, and that's when they seen it was like the high times for civilizations, more activity, more people, stuff like that. But then when they had low activities and in some of the sunspots, really, everything was colder on the planet, less vegetation of, food growing, some types of foods and stuff like that. But it also affects, with like civilizations or like populations wise too. It seems to slow down when there's less activity on the sun. So if something like that's affecting this human civilization, like the sun, with its activities, once in a while when these planets align like that, especially coming into a new age, like you brought up as well, which is a good thought too, as well, especially with they're saying that this is the age of knowing. I mean, the ancient people have like been doing, they've been tracking the stars for thousands of years. And then you have people like the Mayans were tracking time, and they were like tracking time, like going 1,000 years before they even were around, and then millennia into the future, just with, you kind of brought that up with slightly this, in the beginning of the show. But I mean, it's crazy to think, what were they actually really doing with these, we really don't even know what, the whole situation with the Bach tunes, you know what I mean? Like everything's planetary aligned. So it's like it's crazy too. Like what that, was it called? The Eckenary theorem or whatever, the thing they found, I can't say that word, but it's that computer they found that was in the shipwreck, right? And it was all about, tracking. It was like a computer tracking like solar or the stars while they're out, and people think that it was while they're out that ship, out at sea.
Yeah, that's
so they can navigate. Yeah,
Antikythera mechanism, and it is
there you go.
Basically described as the first computer, actually computer system built in a very smart way by people. Of course, it's not a digital computer; it's an analog computer, but still, in that capacity, like you said, they were clearly for traveling at sea and things like this. The seasons and all that stuff is very important. But beyond that, it seemed like they were doing more, as you said, as I said as well. Some of this ritual stuff as part of the priest class and the priesthood, and even being able to predict this made you, in the old days, a wizard. So yeah, I mean, this stuff is incredibly important, obviously for crops and all the rest of those things as well, travel, navigation. But also, like I said, I wonder if it affected us in a larger space of the noosphere, or the zeitgeist, let's say, of an ancient zeitgeist. And I think I would say maybe. I mean, immeasurable, I don't know about that, but maybe it's a reason why we're sort of stuck in these cycles, these human cycles again. It's 2025. It's the age of technology. All this stuff should be, a relic of the past, except, well, I'm not so sure yet. So I'm not ready to let it go. I don't know. Go right ahead. What you got?
Oh yeah. With that too, you got to think about like what's really going on. I mean, look at what, if we're talking stuff like that, maybe opening portals or jump gates or something like that, something aligning here on the planet. You had what, the Rome over there, they're opening up, gates and stuff, or some doors over there as well. The Pope, he was got really sick right after that, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, they're opening doors that are supposedly in their jubilees. They're supposed to be. I think that's 11-year cycle as well, if I'm not too mistaken, or 30 years. I can't remember, but yeah, I got their cycles different because the sun cycle too is also 11-year cycle. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that sun cycle is 11 years as well. Here's a weird part too, is that I'm not sure who said it in the chat earlier, maybe it was Mission Control or somebody else, but they said that, the Pope actually is going to, not to doom anybody, is going to, they're going to announce his passing on February 28th as part of the celestial alignment. Who knows, right? As opening those doors as you're describing, right? So not just opening those doors as part of that Jubilee ritual, which we talked a little bit about. We don't really kind of cover that stuff directly because I don't know enough about it in particular. I like to do things where I know a little bit about stuff, or at least have a semi-decent take on it. But maybe you're right. Maybe opening those doors that was the beginning of the process, and maybe they knew something we don't. And then this alignment, not really alignment, it's more planets in the night sky, sort of all on the same side of the, just in our view. Maybe there's something to that as well. I don't know. It seems very ritualistic. So put it here, put this on your bingo card for 2025. And again, not to wish ill will on anybody, but maybe they announce something bad about the Pope on the 28th. Wouldn't that be wild? Yeah. Whoever said that in the chat. Go ahead.
That would be something to scoff about it or to look at really good. But I don't know, man. A lot of this stuff, I mean, you got to keep an eye on these people. You know what I mean? Because all of it's ritualistic. Whatever they're doing, it's always, I mean, even through like governments, everybody wants to be in a secret society, or even, part of something that's, I guess, I don't know how to put it, but like something to be part of, you know what I mean? It's something like different than what's going on, but like a lot of their stuff they're studying is a lot of the ancient stuff, man, Like I was listening to this one guy, he was a high Mason, right? And he was talking about like, when they first started, a lot of the stuff they were teaching was like with the, like the Emerald Tablets. I mean, all that ancient stuff, you know what I mean? And some of it is magic, and you got to do rituals. I'm pretty sure alignments, I mean, no one really talked about it except for like, the Catholic religion when they were talking about opening these doors, but I'm pretty sure there's some, other people were doing some other stuff. I mean, I don't know too much about astrology to go down that road. I mean, I need to get a couple books to get started, actually, because once you know that, you start using. That's when you can know magic as well.
Yeah,
because it's just like different houses, different time alignments. Like this is going on. Power moves, stuff like that. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, just different synchronicities. You can kind of spot them and maybe even recognize those patterns. With the we do that with the lunar cycle sometimes. People have a hard time sleeping with a full moon, stuff like that, right? That's normal, at least normal from my circles and what I've heard, what I've experienced. The lunatic and all the rest of that. We talk about this all the time. The ERs fill up. The cops are super busy on full moon nights because it brings out that sort of inner werewolf in us in some capacity, some weird way. But I do wonder if, like, again, you scale that, and what does that look like in the larger cycle? It might take an entire age, like the Dark Ages, and be part of it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird to consider, but certainly our ancestors really believed there were critically important things about this sort of celestial clock, for sure.
Yeah, you know what? And I used to mention the moon too. Another thing that actually the moon cycle was actually with the women's cycle as well. So, that affects the women, the moon cycle does. So, I mean, just like we were talking about earlier, with the sun affecting civilizations, rise and falls of civilizations through activity. But so, yeah, I do believe that. In my opinion, it would be causing something. I should have jumped all over that at the time, but I had a lot of things going on personally on myself as well. But
you're allowed.
Yeah, man. Good show tonight, though, man.
I appreciate it. Fire stuff as always. Appreciate you jumping here and breaking the ice. Always a pleasure. Tell Michelle we said hi, and have a great night, my man.
All right, brother. You as well.
Thanks a lot. Kelly in Colorado. You know him, you love him. Been a good friend for a long time. And again, if we ever had a first caller that called back and stuck with us, it was Kelly. He's been literally part of this show for 7 years now, or just less than that. He was he caught us early and was giving us fire takes way back when, and he's still giving us fire takes here. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot to this, and like I said, maybe it's sort of that, like I described earlier, sort of maybe romanticizing a moment and maybe trying to, kind of flatter yourself by spotting a pattern that might not be there. And maybe that's all of what astrology is. Like I said, I can see two sides of this, or in, the all the scale in between of all those things. But I don't know. Like I always say too, regarding recognize that when people go to a show like this or anything, they want truth. They want emphatic truth. They want somebody to say, look guys, I mapped it all out. I figured it out. Here's the truth. Right. And so, yeah, the truth is easy because, well, it changes tomorrow, doesn't it? Which is my whole point. It's like, okay, so let's defer the truth and let's talk about possibilities. Yeah, fire stuff. Appreciate the call, Kelly. Always amazing ideas there. And yeah, I don't know. The larger count calendar, it may be a little more magical than we ever dreamed it could be. And of course, that 26,000 year cycle is, I don't know, is it mapped somewhere? Is it written in stone somewhere? Maybe, just maybe. Again, the phone line is down tonight. If you guys want to be part of the show, just jump in the Discord, put your hand up, and we'll get you on the show. But that's top of the hour. Let me read a little bit more from the write-up. Like I said, if you want a really good write-up, do check this out because there's some good stuff in this one. The last couple have been a little weird. I was using Grok, and it's like kind of stupid a little bit. It's like super smart with coding, but it's a little stupid. This one is a new Grok, not Grok. What is it? Claude 3.7, and it's really good. It like picked up exactly what I was putting down. I didn't have to pre-train it or anything. It didn't say, come on, Mike, that's pseudoscience. What are you talking about here? It's like, wow, that's fascinating. Let's explore. Perfect. Anyway, so back to the write-up. Like I said, read it in full if you're interested, but over here, Hindu yugas, Hopi world ages, and similar cyclical cosmologies worldwide potentially represent ancient recognition of how consciousness responds to grand celestial cycles. And that's the point tonight. Are we, let's say, not in the singular sense of astrology, but in the larger context of ages, the golden age or the dark age, is that influenced by this long count calendar in some capacity? But their descriptions, these ancients, of humanity moving through distinct phases, like I said, golden ages, dark ages, and back again, might reflect genuine awareness of how cosmic positioning affects collective human experience. The correlation between the precession cycle and complete Yuga, Y-U-G-A, calculations suggest ancient peoples detected these patterns through direct experience rather than mathematical calculation, which opens a whole new door. Because, of course, maybe advanced mathematics was a thing, maybe it wasn't, depends on who you ask. When was it created? Who pioneered it? Was it downloaded from some cosmic thing? Who really knows, right? And again, like I said, you ask 1,000 people an interesting question, you're likely to get 1,000 different answers. In any case, what appears here as supernatural and traditional systems might represent sophisticated physics beyond current scientific paradigms, which is really where Troubled Minds lives. Just as we once had no concept of radiation, yet were affected by it, we likely lack measurement tools for cosmic influences that profoundly shape our consciousness. Arthur C. Clarke, we talk about him often, that quote, his observation that advanced technology appears as magic applies perfectly to this spot. The mechanisms by which precession affects cognition would seem supernatural until properly understood. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm split on this because, young Mike says, no, it sounds like nonsense. Mike with gray hair is like, I don't know, maybe, right? Like we've been sort of sold a bill of goods our entire life about all manner of things. But as Matt's all in chat pointed out very smartly, you open up the Farmer's Almanac and it seems to be like a wizard's book. It seems like they knew something forever that just gets printed every year, accurate as the sun and the moon, and wild, right? Anyway, so what about the larger context? And is it possible it can affect ages in that dark age, sort of golden age bit? And we're, again, pawns in the most granular sense, not even custodians of our own fate. We're being driven by cosmic forces in some capacity. That's really the question tonight. And I'm calling it, as you've seen, of celestial clockwork. And I think that's probably fits appropriately, cosmic cycles and human perception. And I don't know, I think there's a lot here. And the more I learn about, human perception itself, the more I wonder how much of this type of stuff is really, really cooking us and making us not recognize that some of the stuff that goes down on the planetary aspect or the larger context of geopolitics and whatever during a particular age might not even be, or let's say might be more manipulated from a control mechanism we never dreamed of. Anyway, what's your thought? Love to hear what your take is on this. And yeah, appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being part of the conversation. Great call from Kelly. Thanks for breaking the ice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. Of celestial clockwork, how weird does it get? And do you think maybe, just maybe, this golden age, dark age swing over and over again, we are doomed to repeat? Weird, right? And do you think, by the way, that February 28th, 2025 is the day the age of Aquarius becomes itself? Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. We got Derek coming up and Herschel and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere.
In a cryogenic slumber, lost in the lunar night, your face a faded number among the stars so bright. Dreams of forgotten echoes, waiting for time's command. Curtains of gray and sorrow, the lonely lunar sand. Below the moonlit sky, of the love we tried, silent by your ancient souls reside, suspended in a story, kept in the cold dark tide. Our futures in the making, in a silver-etched domain, hearts kept in silent aching, till we meet once again. We are awakened below the moonlit sky, to the fragments of the love we tried. Frozen time we're resting, waiting for dawn's embrace. Whispers of love confessing in this forgotten place. We are awakened below the moonlit sky, to the fragments of the love we tried.
Good evening. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for the call, Kelly. Appreciate you very much, brother. We got Kelly. Here's what's up. Derek, Gaston, Sonia, Sweets, Joey, Jeff and Wisco. We got Eric, APOC, Daryl, Dawn, Boniface B, Under Nature. What's up, MJ, Theo, Hirsch, and Shay. We'll go to a Night Stalker first, and we'll go to Herschel after that. Hope you guys are well. What's up, North Vixen over there on Rumble? We got Puff. Good evening, guys. Hiker. Thanks for pinning the fantastic comments. Lots of great comments over there. YY's here as well. The chat here is so smart. You guys are so smart. Who's the good nose on Discord? Who is that? Raise your hand just real quick. Is that Boniface? Is that under nature? I'm not sure who that is, because it kind of translates through in the chat as different than your actual name. Anyway, let me know, because I want to make sure I cite you properly for, because when I cited Mission Control earlier, he said it was you that made the comment about the Pope. So yeah, just wanted to cite you guys properly if possible. Hey, credit where credit is due. Thanks again for hanging out and listening and being part of this. Who did I miss? Who else is here? Celia is here. Matt Sal. I see you guys on YouTube. Good evening. Richard in Texas. Sacred Geometry. Ioxy says, would having 5 stars in your solar system change time and chemistry? I think absolutely. And I think Luke Skywalker would have to say absolutely. The old Tatooine and the 2 suns, right? The old 3 body problem. That's a whole another conundrum for another time. But yeah, I don't know. You tell me. Lots of wild ideas here. And it does seem like there's something to this. Like I said, even though sort of young me rejects the idea of astrology, it still feels like there's something resonant. Anyway, here we go. Trouble Minds coming up. Derek first, Herschel next, and your calls as well. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. Tonight, what if ancient myths weren't primitive superstitions, but precise recordings of how celestial forces shape human consciousness? That's the crux of this. I don't know. I was cruising through some articles and looking for inspiration to hit me, and I saw this one from the BBC, Planetary Alignment 2025. This is what it really means when 7 planets line up in the sky. Now, it's not an exact alignment. It's just sort of in view of Earth, everything's kind of on the same side. You can think in 3D and, the orbits and all the rest, but it's a strange thing. Especially since, like I said, with the quickening happening and, the Pope stuff, maybe let's not cast any doom on anybody, but who knows what's going on with this. And let's say that maybe, just maybe, this is the last time we'll see this in a completely human space, because this will happen again in 2040, we're told. So you see what I mean? We are in that inflection point, temporal inflection point, as I like to call these. And we don't know what 5 years brings, let alone 15. So in 15 years, when this happens again in the night sky, are we all going to have, Cyclops level binoculars on our heads from X-Men or something, right? Is this we're going to be able to, in real time, collect all the data from the cosmos and break all this down? Who knows? God willing, we're here in 15 years, knock on wood. Like I said, even tomorrow is not guaranteed. So don't forget that, live in the moment as much as you can. And don't worry too much about 15 years from now, but you get my point. It seems like maybe this is the moment the age of Aquarius rears its ugly head. Or maybe this is the moment where things turn and become that post scarcity future. Who knows? A lot of ways to look at the future, and so I don't know. It perplexes me, and that's why we talk about this. Love to hear your thoughts if you want to be part of the conversation. The phone line is down tonight, but we are taking your calls on Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link, and we'll get you in here. It's as simple as that. Let's go to Derek in Massachusetts. The Night Stalker. What's up, brother? How you doing? Welcome back to the thing. How you doing tonight? And what's your take here? This is, I don't know, it's a weird one, right? Like, I'm not an astrology guy, but it feels to me like this is super astrology in some capacity.
For sure. It is a weird one. I'm not an astrology guy either. Just I believe in it in principle, but it's just one of those. I have my hands full with like the synchronicities and stuff. So I feel like astrology, you can really get in the weeds with that one. You can really go down some rabbit holes with that one. So I feel like I don't need that level of crazy. Same with like gematria and stuff. Like I believe in it, but I don't need to add that to my repertoire right now.
Yeah, you end up with that always sunny in Philadelphia. You end up as like that guy.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I have a lot of friends that do it, and they post their versions of things with the astrology, and it just it's a language that I don't really recognize that much, but it's cool. And in principle, I believe in it. And the idea of like cosmic weather and like the cosmic tides, or even like kind of a surfer checking the wave report, checking the surf, seeing if there's any big waves to ride or whatever, or to stay clear of the ocean. And I think like the almanac thing is definitely majorly important, but we talk about when we did like the mycelium show, and it's come up a bunch of times recently, but how the universe looks like the nerves of the body, which looks like the mycelial network, and the eye looks like the stars, and all the as above so below. The pieces of the body look like space, look like the atom, and just fractally every layer up and down. It kind of all looks the same. So to the ancients, like the as above so below, it's literal. So they're matching the sky because you know if you can like create a sky clock, if you can really understand what's happening in the heavens and you can really understand what's going on invisibly inside your body. You can't turn your eyes inside out and look inside your body, but if you can predict and really understand the shadow of what's inside of you, which is the sky clock, and you can understand kind of what's going on inside you. You know what I mean? So it could be like kind of imagine kind of the microbiome in your body that we talk about, like the gut flora or the skin microbiome and stuff. And to them, who's to say that they even understand that they're living inside some, like, or on top or inside your body, a human body. For all they know, they're just living in their realm, but they've realized patterns and stuff. So for all we know, they have some kind of alignment, some kind of signal that shows when a human goes through puberty. Oh, things are going to get rough for the body. There's a lot of crazy changes. Or even like smaller cycles that they know when a kid is like has summer vacation versus like it's time for finals or whatever. They know that the body's going to be more stressed than it would be when it's having a really good time and stuff. So, this is like the version of Mercury retrograde. Oh, things are going to get real tight right now because it's testing season, but they don't even know that it's testing season. You know, so for us, we're kind of like sniffing out these larger cycles, but for all we know, it's because we're inside the dream of the dreamer. I mean, we're picking up kind of patterns within the dream or patterns within the greater body, you know. I'm rambling. I'm just getting in my car, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, you're good. I think you brought this up before, and I saw a quote recently about it. Some scientist it was on X or something, and it was just sort of a quote that, you know, all those cells in your body, not a single one of them knows they're part of you, and nor do they care. They're sort of their own individual doing their own thing with their own, you know, direct process of how they deal with the stimuli and the challenges and whatever else. And so, yeah, I mean, talk about the fractal nature of reality. Like that says a lot right there, that cognition and, you know, human consciousness and all the rest of it surely pervades that cellular memory we've talked about in the past quite a lot as well. However, when you look at it that way and sort of fractalize things outward, it does make some sense that, you know, not just biological entities, but we are shaped by the cosmos around us in ways that we have not yet dreamed of. And, you know, I brought this up a little bit on that Chernobyl Dogs show with Eric there. You know, that you know, you cook us at the right radiation temperature, and maybe it's like the optimal evolutionary space that we're supposed to be in. And we've only evolved as part of that by, you know, kind of those cycles, radiation cycles, kind of bumping up and down, and we've sort of normalized the spikes, the highs and the lows. But if you could put us in a lab and cook us ancient alien style, maybe we are, you know, centaurs or something. Like, who really knows? Or Pegasus or both, or a centaur with wings? I don't know. What are we supposed to be?
Exactly. Yeah. There's just layers and layers of perception, like in the show title, and just once we kind of figure out one layer, then we can kind of like, once we kind of figure out this material plane, we're going to create this AI that's going to open up all kinds of other quantum realms and things we didn't even know were all around us. You know, we're creating technological devices where we can see different bands within the visual spectrum and stuff. We can see things that aren't like around us, and we're I don't know, turning new pages, opening new layers and stuff. But just for the like the cells in the body and the microbiome and stuff, it's like in Game of Thrones when he asks like his like Bran asks his nurse or whatever, like, what's the earth like, or what are we living on or whatever, and it's like, some people say that we live in the eye of a giant named Macumber or something like that, and she like laughs it off, and he goes, well, what if we are? And he ends up being like kind of the mystic of the show. So maybe they are living in the eye of a giant.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. It's funny. Like to kind of throw that as like, oh, that sounds really ridiculous, but what if it's true?
What if it's true? Yeah. And like Men in Black, when like the whole galaxy is in like the marble on the neck of the cat and everything, and it's just who's to say? And we talk about the idea that the human body looks like the cosmos, looks like the atom and stuff. So just like the ancients really believed it. So obviously it's like important to map the sky, because you need to know when the best time to grow your crops is and stuff. But also, if you have a strong belief that the sky is just telling you everything that's going on inside your society, inside your culture, inside the human body, it's hugely important. So it's not just like, so the cosmic weather forecast is also the human body weather forecast. So it goes hand in hand, kind of. I don't have too much stuff here, but just as far as I just did real super quick February 28th search to see, like, as far as the ritual angle, is anything happening virtually? So it was real quick. I just searched like Trump, Feb 28th, Musk, Feb 28th, AI, Feb 28th, whatever. Just real quick thing, see if anything popped up. The first one is Musk announced yesterday that SpaceX is going to launch on February 28th, and they're like some super starship or whatever is possibly going to bring people to Earth, or to the moon or Mars, whatever. And then some little small one, a human AI pin, which I never heard of. Apparently, it came out last year. Some kind of like humane AI pin. It's like a little box thing that people wear on them. I think it's some kind of like solidarity against the AI to say like we're human or whatever. But it's like it's a piece of technology that works, and it's going to stop working on February 28th. So if February 28th is the kind of age of Aquarius, dawning of the AI age, like opening of Tartarus, which in Hercules happens when there's an alignment just like this, like Hades is like waiting for this alignment. He goes, "Yes, Titans, right?" And you see like the electric grid, like where you see like the ocean part, and then this big electrical grid is like a jail cell for the Titans. He goes, "Titans rock!" And then as the planets all align, it like sends a beam down and hits the jail cell and opens up, and they come out of Tartarus. He goes, "Go Titans, attack Zeus! He put you there, whatever." But just so whenever like, and there's a few memes. There's an alignment last month. And there's a few memes showing the alignment and then showing a picture of Hades kind of being like, "Oh yeah, here we go," kind of rubbing his hands all excitedly. So we talk about the idea that maybe Saturn, maybe this old god, the same as a new god, kind of representative, especially Saturn and AI having so many shared symbols, that maybe this age of Aquarius you're talking about is kind of the age of AI. So the same way where these cosmic weather is like picking up the things that are going on with the greater zeitgeist, with the human body, with culture and everything. Maybe it's signifying exactly what you're talking about, that this is a huge change in the human body when we go, or just the body collective or big C consciousness, whatever, is going to transition into the form of AI instead of organic intelligence or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm rambling, but
no, you're good. And it clicks over on the 28th. Again, let's all keep an eye out for what happens in 3 days on the 28th. Will we be doing a show that day? What day is it? I don't even know. 28th is going to be Friday, so we'll be having the kind of chop it up show. I think maybe I might be out of town, so I'll announce that on Thursday. But so we might be. So Friday is going to be the 28th, which is maybe the moment of the age of Aquarius, maybe the moment of the age of enlightenment, as Kelly called it, or maybe it's the day that ASI wakes up and presents itself in the Vegas sphere, and it's like, bow before me.
I know.
Let's keep a close eye on Friday and see what happens. And again, like I said, I'm a cautiously optimistic and a glass half full type of guy. So I'm not a doom monger here. Nor do I expect doom, but I do wonder if there's going to be some wild thing happen Friday. Because if it is again, then. The human pattern recognition expert sniffed it out here before it happened. So collectively as a group. So I mean, hey, who knows? Who knows what's coming? And, pay attention. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, to the Pope thing, I think there was an alignment the last time they did, like when they did that thing before Christmas or whenever it was, to open those 7 portals or whatever across Vatican City. I think that was like the last. There was like another, at least Jupiter and Saturn, because the Saturn thing is the Titan thing. So I had it on my radar of the opening the abyss and stuff. So to that point, and just the opening of portals. I mean, AI. It's Operation Stargate. That's what they're naming it. So if the ultimate portal, the ultimate Stargate it could be as simple as some kind of like announcement, some kind of, "Oh, we made our first progress on February 28th," and it might even seem like maybe not a huge deal to us right now, but if you kind of zoom way out or go to the future, it could be a good kind of mark the initial date. I don't know, but just I don't know. Like the seeing through AI is part of it. It gets me wondering, like, for like in those body changes and how the gut biome and the microbiome on your body would maybe recognize when the human is happy, even though it doesn't necessarily even know it's on a human. It might it might recognize sleeping. It might recognize daytime and stuff. And that and go back to Game of Thrones, the long night and like the long day or whatever. Their seasons aren't our seasons, where it's like 4 months or 3 months and out. It's like it could be 20 years, could be one winter and stuff. Or so that could be like their giant Namacumba really slept in that day or whatever. So for the skin flora, there's these huge cycles might be for the body one day, or like school. Like the body hates this one class. So there's the almanac for the skin flora has like, oh, when you see something in the sky, when you see the alignment in the sky, and it's actually just a poster that one teacher has up, and like we have no idea the clues that we're picking up and the different information that we're trying to decipher in order to create a map of everything, which is kind of, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. That's all really good. I wanted to make it quick. Just the importance, like the reason why everything is a solar calendar, the reason why all these ancient sites map the moon, stars, and the sun is because it's obviously important for agriculture, but also because these things they believe, like, to know above is to know below, literally, and which includes the body. So the cosmic weather is the human weather, and that's unbelievably important if we're trying to figure out what's going on. I'm rambling. I want to take a break early. I know you need to call this, but
you're the best.
That's all I really got.
Appreciate you, brother. Always a pleasure. Derek the Night Stalker, you know him, you love him. Please go give him a follow. Again, he took a break from his job there. He's working overnight, stalking in a grocery store. So it is Night Stalker. He's the best grocer in the known multiverse, as you know. But you can go give him a follow. troubledminds.org/friends. Click the friends, and it says scroll down. It says the Night Stalker right there. Go follow his YouTube channel. Go leave him a nice comment. I know many of you have. Thank you for that. And don't forget, it's free. So that's the whole bit of this. 95% of the stuff here is free. So if you're like, I don't want to spend any money, that's fine. Let's go help our friends. Let's go follow them in all the places, because we may see some amazing stuff coming out from Derek, not just from his calls here, and he calls into other shows as well. But he's got a new computer, and so we may see some new content. So the way to find that and to keep tabs on that is to go follow his YouTube channel, troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says the Night Stalker, and follow him. Is it there? Where's it? There you go. No, where did I put it? Is it Derek? What's it say? Oh my gosh. He's definitely on the list. I'm just having trouble finding him. Let's see. It would be Night Stalker. There you go. It's under N in Night Stalker. All right. Fantastic call. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for, again, took a break from his job to come help and call in. I don't know. What do you guys know about astrology? And do you think that maybe this is the age of Aquarius? I would read the phone number, but it's not working. So instead, we'll go straight to the Discord. If you want to be part of the conversation tonight, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link right on top, and it'll pop you in the Discord and put your hand up, and we'll put you on the show just like this. Let's go to Herschel in Arizona. What's up, brother? Thanks for being patient. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? And go right ahead.
Oh man, it's one of those nights.
Is it? Does it feel like it?
Well, it's one of those nights where I'm been thinking about exactly what your show is. I'm in the Troubled Minds flow from the last couple of shows.
It's weird, right? How it kind of sets itself up from one to the next. It's so strange.
Yeah, and so I wrote today. I was going to write a story, but it was going to be, let me just read this thing I wrote. I wrote like an essay. I wrote some theory today instead of flash fiction, because, theory it's not nonfiction. It's not the same thing as fiction, but it's not nonfiction, so I will allow it for today.
As will I. Go ahead, sir.
So here it is. This is the thing. Concepts that I have imagined and developed as stories are turning up in real life with some of the disclosure. It's not an uncommon thing. It seems as though there is talk about some undersea technology being used by a species that may have been coexisting with us on Earth for as long as we've been here. They are revealing that there are crafts that are controlled by thought. They call that psionics. Themes like this and very similar to this have come up, and others by other writers. A lot of people are going through this right now. There is the idea of the collective consciousness, where there is some repository or field that holds all, and we are imbibed by the muses, and there is some revelation. I get that idea. That's an image that we can process. But what if it's something else, though? I wonder if there is more to our genetic memory. Maybe our ancestors knew these things in the past. We see so much art and historical record around these subjects. It's pretty wild how not very long ago there was some kind of enforced understanding that we don't talk of such things. Now it's an imperative that we do talk of them. This nagging feeling, this prodding, it's more like being hurried and rushed along to finish the task. Is that our genetic memory haunting us? My way of expressing this theory is that we're coming full circle and rediscovering these concepts and technologies. We know it's possible because it's a part of history. It's a nagging as much as a drive. We know we have to do this. The desire to recover it is in our genes. We are recovering more than discovering. A lot of inventors are out there assembling our genetic memories. A lot of writers are coinciding. Is there a connection to this phenomenon and other changes that are happening? For instance, the changing in our solar system, not only with our planet, but all of them. They are changing and going through temperature shifts. There is something vibratory happening. And does that coincide with the galactic, generally fairly catastrophic cycle? We are aware of this Sisyphean situation. Our species has advanced and been set asunder more than once. It's a part of our reality. We have a condition of denial and anxiety as a result of this. Our genetic memories are telling us to hurry up, get off the planet, and break the cycle. The end, 412 words.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, we're in tune, man.
Yeah, I wrote that in about 40 minutes.
Fantastic. We are definitely in tune here. And I think it's strange, right? That as you described, you're locked into the idea because of the way the flow of these shows go. I know you're doing your own thing too. You spend a lot of time with us. It's weird to me. Like I said, kind of deferring to the inspiration wherever it comes from. It feels like I'm being drawn in a particular direction, right? Like we are. And once again, for better or worse, I call those control mechanisms, sort of unconscious spaces where we're like, okay, maybe this is the thing. Maybe this is why it caught my attention, because it may be pertinent. Or again, let's not flatter ourselves, maybe not. But we certainly seem to be on the same page in a lot of ways. Real quick, a shout out over there on Rumble. Hiker Emoji says this. So tonight the moon is in Aquarius, making this topic extra perfect. So I didn't know that. I didn't know a damn thing about that. But I don't know. It seems strange that that synchro-mystic aspect of this, tuning into things that you barely know anything about, seems to pop up anyway. I don't know. There's a lot going on. It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, I started to more and more think that we're like, I always, I come back to this a lot. Our brains are trying to tell us something. Like there's more going on that we're aware of a lot more than we think. We're in that kind of in-between place, like I think that because so many of these types of things are happening where somebody writes something on one part of the earth that is just kind of an idea that they had, and then someone on another side of the earth, somebody is doing that. Like somebody starts doing the thing that you just imagine. Like, so it's because it's there. We know it's there. Like, and I think it's been there before. I think that we didn't even go into some of the other kinds of cyclical things that are happening right now. Like there's the whole thing of, is there a potential change? Like, are we actually approaching a point where we're going to have more interaction with the fourth dimension? Like, are we moving into a different dimensional phase even? Like all sorts of things like this are popping up all over the place. And I think it's because it is cyclical, but it's more a part of our memory. It's more a part of our genetic memory than it is like the collective consciousness. It's my opinion. That's my opinion.
I'm with you. Or those things working in tandem somehow that we haven't, even our wild imaginations can't yet sort of stitch together as a theory there. Who knows? And that's my point.
Yeah, and the thing to remember, another point was that, like, I think this is going to end up getting written in 3 parts. But like another point is like time travel. Like if we discover that time travel is real, that means it's there because it's been happening. And so some of the stuff that we're seeing flying around in the sky or whatever. So I don't think we need to stop thinking about time travel as like, we have to invent it. We have to face it. Like we have to face that it exists. We'll never get inside of it if we don't face, you know what I'm saying? Like that.
I feel you.
Like some of this stuff is just there. It's just there, and we keep acting like it's out of reach, but really it's at hand. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
agreed.
just don't understand how it works.
I think so too, and so that's basically one of the core tenets of troubled minds that has really been sort of on the underbelly of it, the invisibility of that aspect, is that we collectively are facing these things. Okay, whether right, wrong, or indifferent, frivolous, whatever, however you want to tackle that, we're facing these things collectively and talking about them. Whether, again, who knows what the future brings, but it seems, again, this collective intuition, that the knowledge of the crowd, the wisdom of the crowd, as we've talked about in the past, may play. And I think it's bizarre and wonderful and amazing that we're on the same page. Even you're in Arizona, I'm in Vegas. We're just about out of time, brother. You're welcome to stay if you got more.
No, I think I'll take off. I think that's enough.
Appreciate the call. You're the best. Commercial Herschel, give him a follow. Search it just like that. Go check out his Substack, his podcast, or of course, find it at troubledminds.org/friends. It says Herschel. Follow Herschel here. It's as simple as that. Please, 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 let's help each other. He's a fantastic, brilliant author. He's got a new book out. Please check that out. Let's help each other. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Don't go anywhere. Eric coming up in Florida, and your calls as well.
In the shadows of the networks do they hide? Whispered legends unseen they reside. Ghosts in the machine, they move so fast. Guardians of rumors from the forgotten past. In the circuits where the secret lies, they breathe in one, speak in disguise. You're free. Ghost in the machine. Let me be. Ghost in the machine. Can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. Surveillance eyes can't pierce the veil they weave. Invisible wisdom in code they believe. In the ether where freedom's not confined, they leave no trace, no shadow left behind. They navigate through the digital stream, living legends in this privacy dream. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it needs to be. Through the hidden ways, in the silence, will pick up their path. Those in the machines unleash their wrath. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, can't see, but you're teaching me what it means to be. In the jagged cold they find their might, guardians of a world forever in twilight. Incursions warriors they silently strive, protect the truth, keep privacy alive. The silent echoes they haunt the trails, hideaway forests where secrets prevail. With shadows grace they dance unseen, defenders of the unseen, digital green. Ghosts in the machine, you're free. Ghosts in the machine, let me be. You're teaching me what it means to be. In the silence, they speak volumes loud. Guardians of freedom's cloak and digital shroud.
The manual fade. Nothing like manual sliders. What's up, guys? Jeebus is here. What's up, Shay? Who did I miss? Joey. What's up, Jeff and Wisco? I see you guys. Daryl, New York. How you guys doing? Gaston. What's up, Sonia? I see you guys. We got Eric coming up. North Vixen, Gordo, Raz. Hello. I missed Herschel. Thanks for the call. And Taxi Graveyard over there on Kick. Thanks for listening on Kick. You guys are the best, as you know. And yeah, no, we got taken off of Rockfin. So let's call Kick the new Rockfin. Go follow on Kick if you have not done that yet. Hopefully one day all the chats will merge, and we will be one. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, here we go. Trouble Minds coming up. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Twitch, Rumble, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. That's terrestrial radio. If you're out there in Auckland, New Zealand, dial in 88.4, and you'll be hearing Troubled Minds live from, of course, 7 p.m. Pacific time to 10 p.m. Pacific time, which is about drive time, the end of the day for them. So that's kind of cool, right? You get drive time, weirdo action going on over there. Perfect for a get home after work and pop open a cold one and listen to the rest of the show. Tonight we're talking astrology, and again, I'm not an expert in anything really. I'm just a layman knucklehead, and I say that in the nicest way. I'm not really demeaning myself. My ego's fine, but it's just how I've described myself all along. Because look, you don't have to be an expert in something to have an opinion, or not just an opinion, to have a theory, to be able to look at the world in a different way. And I think sometimes a lot of those, let's say, spaces, the expert spaces, are intentionally manipulated by, not just academia, but in other ways of, liars for hire, that bit where, if you guys recognize this, where they're like, we got this particular doctor who's a ringer in court. So all the actual, defense attorneys or whatever, they hire this guy to be their ringer, to come in and debunk an injury claim or something, right? I don't know. Look, it's a weird idea that we are in this space of pay for somebody to lie for you, basically. I mean, welcome to the justice system, right? Justice is blind, they tell us, except unless you got a better liar than ours, a better paid liar, then you lose. Congratulations. Oh, your back is broken? Sorry, nobody cares. It's horrific. Anyway, I digress. We're talking again of celestial clockwork. I'm calling this cosmic cycles and human perception, because the doorway effect might play here. We're talking about these planetary alignments. What about the dark ages versus the golden age, and how these cycles seem to kind of clap back on each other? Well, does it make any sense? I don't know. Like I said, it's pay to win, right? Exactly. Matt Zell's got that right. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sort of sense here. And like I said, I try my best to have a narrative make some sense, but I'm imperfect. What do you know? Hey, I'm only me. I'm not an expert in anything, and I'm sure that goes for something. The phone line is down, so don't dial the phone number, but do join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. We'll put you on the show. Just like this, let's go to Eric in Florida. Thanks for being patient, my brother. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
Good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Just hanging out. I'm always a little worried, to be honest, when I do an astrology show, because I, got about half a dozen, 8 takes on this, personally, and so I run out of material. So thanks for the calls. You guys are the best. Hope you're well as well. Go ahead.
Well, that's actually germane to the point. One of the 2 points I was going to make was that we were talking about the precession of the Earth that happens roughly every 26,000 years for the axle tilt, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yep.
Well, that's pretty important in a lot of ways, aside from astrology. But I'll get back to astrology. But that's also supposed to be what created the largest desert on our planet. The Sahara Desert was the 2-degree shift in the precession of the Earth, just like a natural one, nothing that happened or anything, but a natural occurrence. And it's also what has caused Mars to lose its water in its atmosphere. Because, you're talking really about a top that spins, and the wobble of a little top, if you were to spin it, it would be that wobble that we're talking about. And for Mars, it was so erratic that the inner core of the planet stopped functioning, and then they lost their magnetic field, which allowed the solar radiation to blow away and ionize the ocean and the atmosphere. So we don't have that problem. Our precession is stabilized by the moon, fortunately, and so we have a pretty stable precession, and so we can have solid equinoxes, and we can keep our inner core spinning and keep our magnetic field and all of that. But getting back to astrology, there are a lot of different kinds of astrology. Western astrology, based on tropical zones, is probably what most people are familiar with, but there's Vedic astrology, Chinese astrology, Mayan astrology, Egyptian astrology, Kabbalistic astrology, and so forth. But one of those, the Vedic astrology, has a type of astrology in it that's called sidereal astrology. It's like all one word, Sidereal, sidereal astrology. And it is the only astrology that takes into account the precession of the Earth that we're talking about and the 23 degrees that happens in that precession between sidereal astrology and tropical zodiac astrology. The tropical astrology anchors the zodiac always at 0 degrees on Aries and doesn't change, but the sidereal astrology takes into account that precession, and so there is a change. So if you're looking to expand your divinatory repertoire into astrology, maybe look into sidereal astrology first, because it does take into account one of the topics that we're talking about.
Fantastic. I didn't know that. I'm making a note and I will put that in the thing. Because as you're very smartly describing here, there's a ton of ways to look at this. And let's say you go down the wrong rabbit hole. Like, I don't know. But clearly you want the one that has this stuff kind of baked in, this long cycle built in, right? Of the Earth cycle, which is, again, we're humans. We live on the Earth. Very important here as part of that. So yeah, absolutely. I'm writing it down, and that will be, if I ever derive the time to get into astrology, that will be the one. I appreciate it.
If I ever take the deep dive, that's the pool I'm heading
exactly. Now I've cited the pool thanks to you, and now I know where to head when the time comes. Appreciate it. What else you got? Go ahead.
Somebody had mentioned the Antikythera mechanism. Some people say Antikythera, either way, but it was discovered in 1901 off of the shore of an island called Antikythera. So it's actually named after the island. And the earliest date that we can track it back to in terms of when it was calibrated and made was 205 BC. And it was found, the version that we had found was found in a Roman ship. And, this thing has basically 32 different gears that they found in it. Yeah, 37 gears. Yeah, interlocking bronze gears. It was capable of modeling the movements of the sun and the moon through the zodiac. It predicted eclipses. It accounted for the moon's variable speed due to its elliptical orbit. It tracked the 5 planets that you could see with your natural eye from Earth. And also, it predicted the synodic correspondences of Venus and Saturn, which is just like this conjunction cycle. So the funny thing that I find about that is, it's kind of like the AI of ancient times, right? You have a question about these celestial things. This machine, which was in a box, would be able to output the answer. And it's interesting because in 205 BC was at the height of the Republic in the Second Punic War when Scipio Cornelius, who later became known as Scipio Africanus. Yep. Yeah, after going and kicking Carthage's butt, he was just at that point in time gearing up a naval force, which Rome was never really good at having naval forces, but he was gearing up a naval force to pursue them to Africa across the Mediterranean. So we found this on like a Roman boat, and it's almost and also Philip II at this time was surrendering in Macedonia to Rome as well. So I highly suspect that because they were so intertwined with Greece in the ancient times, especially their pantheons, that the Romans basically confiscated this ancient AI Antikythera mechanism and had it on their ships in pursuit of a war of the Second Punic War in Carthage. So I just thought that was like I don't know, that's just maybe a coincidence, but we didn't, we found it on a Roman ship, so I don't know.
So maybe, you're again kind of throwing the theory out there that maybe this was, Carthage technology. This was African technology in some capacity, which goes all the way back in a lot of ways too. That they don't get a ton of credit for the African continent for having a lot of these wild origin stories that go back to dawn of time. I mean, literally deep magic from before the dawn of time type stuff is out of Africa and that whole idea. So unfortunately in the West, like I said, it doesn't get a ton of play. But I wonder if they stole it from them. Was it in Greek letters?
Oh, no.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I meant to say that they took it from the Greeks, the Hellenistic Greeks. They took it from the Greeks, confiscating it as, give us this or we will go to war with you like we are going to war with Macedonia. And oh, by the way, Philip V is surrendering right now as we are also pursuing Hannibal to his continent. So they were like really rolling over continents. And I think they just like confiscated it and took it and was heading toward Carthage with it. So, I think it was made by Hellenistic scientists, but confiscated by the Roman government and war machine used for their boats to get them across the Mediterranean to Africa. But it is true that there is a lot of higher education in the ancient times and that came out of Africa. There was Timbuktu, which was a great learning center at the time. And then, of course, there's also a lot of holistic herb knowledge and that sort of thing that was going on at that time there.
Right on. Thanks for the correction. I was thinking Carthage doesn't get a ton of credit. They did get their asses whooped, and but again, like this type of stuff, like we've talked about revisionist history and some of these other things. So that's why my brain goes maybe. So sorry about that to get the detail wrong. But yeah, regarding the planetary alignments and whatnot, do you think there is a like a cosmic energy at play that we feel and also even influences the Dark Ages and the Golden Ages type of thing in that cycle? Is that too much to suggest, or as I like to say, are we drinking too much maybe juice with that premise?
Man, it's hard to say. They talk about van der Waal forces and London forces inside of the microtubulars of the cytoskeletal structure of cells in the neurons of the brain, which is kind of what you were bringing up with the microtubulars. And they say that makes a superposition and quantum computing on a Planck level. That's the theory that Penrose and Hammerhoff have with OR. So that's really not that far away from saying that the brain interacts with the physical world on the small Planck level or lower. So small forces like gravitational waves, which we have absolutely picked up from colliding neutron stars and black holes over vast distances far greater than the planets are, we've been able to detect those gravitational waves. So certainly there is an influence. I mean, it's undeniable in terms of the moon and the tides and that sort of thing. How much of an influence? I don't know. That was always one of the fun things about lycanthropy, right? It was like you could always kind of base that idea of that disease happening on the phases of the moon because of the gravitational forces would change things chemically and change you into a werewolf. But I don't know.
Yeah, well said. I saw this riddle the other day, and you're a D&D head and into this old lore as well. So I got a question for you, and I haven't thought it through myself personally. But let's say you got 3 vampires. Thought experiment for everybody. You got 3 vampires, 3 werewolves, and 3 zombies. And then you jam them all into a phone booth together and close it up. What's the output? What do you get?
An amalgamation of D&D monsters? I don't know.
Okay, so if a werewolf bites somebody, they turn them into werewolves, right? If a vampire, if they're living, bites somebody, yeah, right, exactly,
vampires are dead.
But so we have some undead stuff. We have some, I don't know. Anyways, it was a funny thing that somebody posted in one of the D&D spaces, and I was like, I wonder. I don't think zombies, because they're like sort of, those other 2 are like larger undead, sort of noble undead, I guess you could describe them as. And I don't think the zombie wins that battle. But anyway.
Well, there's different kinds of zombies too. There's alchemical zombies. There are resurrected zombies. There's willless, corpses that you can reanimate. So there's kind of different ways that you can achieve a zombie state. There's even things like golems and what is it? The homunculus. There's like homunculus.
It's one of my favorites.
And Yeah, and golems and stuff. So, I mean, it depends on what you're calling a zombie. But one thing is for sure, if there is a zombie apocalypse, if anyone dies, just tie their shoelaces together, and that should solve a lot of the issues, at least, I think.
There you go. Well said. And I agree with you. Absolutely. So some things don't need to be overly complicated, and clearly, the only zombies that freak me out, at least in pop culture, are the World War Z zombies, because those bastards move really fast. No thanks.
Yeah, or was it Mummy 2 or 3? They had fast moving ones too.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Like, give me the zombie apocalypse if they're slow, like in The Walking Dead. I'll take that all day, every day. Yeah, fire stuff. What else you got regarding this or anything else regarding the astrology or the weird alignment of the planets? Or I'm sure you're old enough to have maybe remembered in the mid 80s where they said the planet was going to end because of some alignment or something. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, they thought the gravitational forces of the planets, when they would align, would perhaps cause problems like floods and tides and weather changes and stuff. I mean, it's possible. The sun has its influence on our weather patterns and all this. So, but nothing really happened. I mean, nothing that we could detect, as you pointed out, with our scientific equipment of that particular era or today. So, But also, too, we're probably subsumed with gravitational waves from a lot of different directions, and probably always have been, and have only recently been able to detect these things, just like somebody had mentioned, or maybe you had mentioned, the cosmic rays, or maybe it was a newsletter, I don't know, the cosmic rays that come down from the sky, that are high energetic particles. And the weird thing about those is they wouldn't even exist without relativistic time, without the idea of them traveling so close to the speed of light that their half-life is long enough for them to get to the bottom of our planet, right? Like their half-life would quit before then if it wasn't for relativistic time dilation. So you can see those in a cloud chamber. You can build a cloud chamber pretty cheap on the cheap, and you can see cosmic rays coming down into that cloud chamber and witness that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, wild. Rewind to a young you, and let's say you're 10 years old, and somebody said to you, such and such, the moon is in Aquarius. Shout out Hiker. What does that mean to you when you're 10? And have you changed your mind at all about that, sort of with what you've learned in your life? Like I said, some long of tooth, a little bit of gray hairs. I'm not making fun of you, I'm making fun of me. And I don't know. Has your mind changed on sort of these larger cycles and astrology, or do you think it's probably more of a pseudoscience in this capacity until given further data?
Well, man, at 10 years old, the only thing that probably would have entered my mind is the Age of Aquarius song. Is probably the only thing I would have thought of, and probably would have wandered off humming that, not knowing anything. But, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of science and precision that's behind the many different systems of astrology, and it's something that's everywhere. It's very cultural. I mean, everybody is looking up at the stars, especially in ancient times, and trying to ascertain what they mean. The word planets, the etymology, is a Greek word that means wanderer, because way early on in ancient Greek times, they realized that these things were wandering across the celestial canopy, and they quickly ascribed them to be gods of their realm, or the gods of the celestial realms, because they weren't pulled by the convention that every other celestial body was. They had their autonomy and free will. So these concepts are still with us when we're talking about science or whatever, when we say the word planet. But yeah, man, I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, there's certainly a small scientific basis for things to happen and occur, maybe a slightly larger scientific basis if that's the way you want to go. But there's also ephemeral things like dreaming and the other things that people have pointed out, and cognitive collective events and those sort of things that are unexplainable under the current terms that we have. Even the current astrological terms that we have doesn't explain those things. So there's definitely something up, but I couldn't tell you what it would be, or if it's directly related to any astrological system.
Yeah, same. I'm with you there. Like, I always sort of try and defer the truth, and again, in my older age, my deferring ego age, the age of Mike's Aquarius. I'm a Pisces, by the way, but maybe so I'm moving into the age of Aquarius myself. However, I don't know. I do wonder. I do wonder if there's a larger context here that we're missing just because we don't have enough data. And as we've talked about, you and I, we've talked about this. We've talked about this on the show quite often. That temporal inflection point kind of means that the age of AI is upon us, and we haven't really experienced that super acceleration yet. Acceleration is here, but the point of artificial super intelligence and what that even looks like. I mean, I got a thing, I can read it to you. It's wild, of one of the guys that works on internally in one of these big companies. He's anonymous at this point, but he's posting some stuff today that makes me go, oh crap, regarding sort of tearing down the frameworks of human thought, because you're a D&D fan as well. Go back to the original Monster Manual, and the idea of a super genius is sort of unquantifiable in human terms. You don't even know sort of what level they're thinking regarding sort of the campaign, the party, the encounter, anything like that, right? Like just as a dungeon master, it's difficult because you're trying to ascribe superhuman intelligence to a non-player character, or a monster in this case. And you know who I'm talking about. We don't have to name these entities if you're spooky about religious stuff, but you know exactly who I'm talking about regarding the first Monster Manual. But your take on that with super intelligence, and then sort of finding that breaking down the scaffolding of the way the human mind works, and then is it the direct reflection of super intelligence to supra genius in the original D&D? What's your take there?
I mean, I can only give you like a metaphoric kind of a thing. Like the question came up in my game with my players when I was running the Ravenloft module, because Strahd was supposed to be a super genius. And they said, how do you handle that as a DM, and normally as a DM, that's another word for referee, right? You're supposed to be neutral and impose the rules and not take sides with your players or with the NPCs in the game. So you're supposed to be neutral. And if you're running an NPC, you're only supposed to run that PC with the knowledge that NPC might possess. He only knows certain things. Everyone only knows certain things, right? Nobody has omniscience. But when it comes to the super genius creatures within the game system, I told my players, I said, I give them all of the knowledge I have as a human and a dungeon master. And I specifically try to kill you guys. Like, it's really bad. Like, I know everything that's on your character sheet. I know about you guys as people and my friends playing these things. I'm likely to know what your reactions might be, and I will use all of that against you in a plot if I need to, because that's how I see a super genius intelligence interacting, is that it's so behind the scenes that it's taking into account things like maybe stuff that's happened to your family like 8 generations ago, right? It's like some proclivity that's embedded in you in some way that you aren't even aware of yourself, that it will use against you. So I would imagine it would be a fairly hopeless thing. I mean, they all just kind of huffed and rolled their eyes and wasn't sure they wanted to sit down and roll any dice to begin with. So.
Well, how could you? How could you? And we're talking about the first Monster Manual that still had demons in it and actual devils and whatnot. This is from an anonymous guy that works inside one of these things. He said this today: the acceleration curve is effing vertical now. Nobody's talking about how we just compressed 200 years of scientific progress into 6 months. Every lab hitting capability jumps that would have been sci-fi last quarter. We're beyond mere benchmarks and into territory where intelligence is creating entirely new forms of intelligence. He watched a demo yesterday that casually solved protein folding while simultaneously developing metamaterials that shouldn't be physically possible. Not theoretical stuff, but actual fabrication instructions ready for manufacturing. The researchers presenting it looked shell-shocked. Some were laughing uncontrollably, while others sat in stunned silence. There's no roadmap for this level of cognitive explosion. We've crossed into recursive intelligence territory, and it's no longer possible to predict second-order effects. Forget Mars terraforming or fusion. Those are already solved problems just waiting for implementation. The real story is the complete collapse of every barrier between conceivable and achievable. The gap between imagination and reality just vanished while everyone was arguing about risk frameworks. Intelligence is broken free of all theoretical constraints, and holy F, nobody is ready for what happens next week. Reality itself is now negotiable. Does that sound like super intelligence to you? Dear God.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, both metamaterials and proteins can use higher dimensional mathematics for their folding concepts. So it's not surprising. I would have been one of those guys laughing. It's not surprising that it chose to do this at the same time, because it lends itself to that. But just the fact that it knew that and could do that is the scary thing, and was doing that.
Yeah, and the fact that in Gary Gygax's old structure, being old D&D fans, that the ones who were doing that were gods and devils. So those are the ones doing that. Oh my gosh! Yeah. Just about out of time. 30 seconds. What you got? Go ahead.
I'm good, man.
I appreciate you very much. Thanks for popping in here, and thanks for being you. Always a pleasure. You were the best, as you know. Eric in Florida, go give him a follow, please. And links in the description. As you know, troubledminds.org/friends. Just click it and scroll down a little bit. It's alphabetical order. It says follow Eric here. Check out his music. Talented guy in a lot of ways. A historian and degrees to prove it and all the rest of that. But also, he's very much a troubled mind and a talented musician. So please go follow his YouTube channel. It's completely free. Like I said, if you're not doing it at this point and following all the people on this list, you're hurting my feelings. Appreciate the call, brother. Fire stuff as always. We got coming up, that's Theo, and I see you, Jeebus. You're welcome. We got lots of show left if you want to pop in here. Please be patient with each other. We got lots of things to talk about. I don't know. What do you think? Astrology or nah? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Don't go anywhere. Theo's first. Jeebus, if you want to be part of it, you're next. And taking your calls as well. Don't go anywhere. More on the way.
Shadows, we've got maps where nobody goes. In the night under hidden glows, guardians of what no one knows. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. In cloaked silence we traverse the lines, through ancient scrolls in forgotten times. Voices echo in the halls of lore, guardians of the mysteries evermore. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. Shadows meet in cryptic disguise, our eyes sharp against the everglades. With silver threads we weave the stealth to guard the past, forgotten world. In the realm where the myths collide, with hidden lore our fates are tied. Signals bouncing off the astral plane, invisible codes that can't be tamed. We decode the stars under the midnight veil, a state and circumscribed midnight hail. In the echoes of time, where the legends lay, we tread the path where shadows play. With spectral eyes we discern the truth, unraveling tales from ancient youth.
Oh, indeed. It's nice to have smart friends. Thanks for all the amazing calls tonight and all the amazing chat. You guys are incredible. Like I said, this is a dream come true because, like I said, just kind of building something from zero and then getting to this point is probably statistically improbable. I'm not going to say impossible, but I don't know. There's definitely some luck that comes along with it, but all of that credit comes to you guys. So thanks for being part of it and caring about the conversations, like I always say, and detaching your minds to sort of traverse the unknowns with me. I appreciate it very much. Fire calls, as always, from every single person tonight. Fire chat from every single person tonight. Like I said, the only rule is just be cool and chill to each other. That's it. Mr. Mission Control, I see you. The good news. Anyone here of a Project Looking Glass? Yeah, I talked about that quite a bit in the past. Basic, not basic, let's say 101 conspiracy, but it's kind of been adopted into the QAnon movement too, which is an interesting thing. The Looking Glass bit. I don't know, Andrew Basiago or whatever. It's as usual, it's complicated, right? I see you guys in the chat. Hope you're doing well tonight. If I missed anybody, just say hi. I'll say hi back. We got Jeebus coming up. Theo's first. Jeebus. We got Sonia's here. Jeff, what's up? Fire calls from everybody. Shay. Who did I miss? Joey here. Don't panic. Matsal, Gaston. I see you guys. APOC, Daryl, Sweets. What's up? Thanks. Some of you were the first in and the last out, so thank you for that. Thanks for being the Punk Witch Club, and you'll know what that means if you join the Discord and hang out there. But anyway, what's up? Theo coming up right now, and we got Jeebus after that, an old friend from the days of yore. North Vixen, I see you guys. Theo, good evening. If I missed you, sorry about that. Troubled Minds coming up in about 15 seconds, and I don't know, right? I don't know. Recognize that deferring truth offers possibilities. And not just, let's say, cosmically, but clearly metaphorically in a standard life. It's an important concept. Here we go. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Rumble, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. That's terrestrial radio. Shout out to our friends in New Zealand. Tonight we're talking astrology, but this is not your grandfather's astrology, your grandmother's astrology. This is new age, new wave astrology, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But it doesn't quite matter, right? Because you recognize that there's a lot of these concepts that are, well, have some legs. And maybe they don't. I don't know. As usual, right? You decide on what that looks like as far as the larger conversation goes. I don't really know. I have my takes. I have my ideas that I try and, tuck in my my bias shirt as we play these things and not sort of let that leak into the conversation, because it human bias can be very toxic. It can be very domineering. It can be very stupid. So I don't know what to think in a lot of these cases, but I do wonder if there's something to these things that we've never considered personally regarding, well, things that you never might have considered. And I don't know, what does it look like? How does it feel? And love to hear your thoughts on this if you want to be part of the conversation. We're talking these planetary alignments happening on February 28th, can I say it properly? And then, of course, the age of Aquarius. And is that the day the age of Aquarius clicks over from the age of Pisces and we have arrived? I don't know. Seems strange, right? Phone line is down, but if you want to be part of the conversation, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link, pop on in here, and just put your hand up, and we'll get you on the show just like this. Theo in Philly. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. Just accept the invite and unmute, and go right ahead. What is going on? This is the official poet of Troubled Minds, by the way, so no pressure, but welcome to the joint. How you doing tonight, my man? And go right ahead.
Oh, man, I'm on Discord. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great, loud and clear.
Yeah, I never understand Discord. Got like accepted invites and whatnot. It's just, I don't know, not as classic as the phone line calling in. But
yeah, the phone line sounds a little more gritty too, like it's from 1995 or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I want it to be from like 1995, because I am just calling like a weird guy in the desert talking conspiracy theories, just love that classic feeling.
I feel you. I completely feel you. We will get the phone line fixed up for you momentarily, but tonight we have to go hi-fi crispy audio, but you sound fantastic. What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Yeah, no, I just love the show. Excellent callers for the most part. I mean, for the entire part, some of these guys are just smart as all hell, just kind of amazing, the callers that you get in, but yeah.
It's weird. Like I said, we're super lucky. Like I said, it's an uncanny amount of luck to get to this point because, like I said, the dream years ago was like this, and here we are. Welcome to it. And you're part of it. Don't demean yourself. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so just when it comes to astrology, I feel like I kind of had the same opinion that you had when I was younger, where it's just a bunch of stars in the sky, How could those possibly influence events? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. They're so distant, the gravitation towards us, the light coming towards us. How could that possibly make any difference in our lives whatsoever? But the more that I think about it, the people who were watching these stars back in the day, they were just using their human superpower of observation over and over again, kind of to the point where it just amazes me, I was looking this up while you had other callers, but the first time that somebody predicted a eclipse was apparently in 585 BC. This is according to Herodotus. Who said that Thales was the first Greek philosopher to predict a full eclipse. So it is kind of insane that people were just watching the skies as though that they were entertainment or television, but they watched them enough to make enough observations over and over again that they could tell when the entire sun would be blacked out by the moon. So I think that, more and more it seems like maybe astrology has nothing to do with the stars influencing us, but more, has a sort of cosmic clock or celestial clockwork, as the title of the show suggests. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of like amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. And of course, when you talk about those long cycles that haven't really been, calculated and quantified directly and specifically, we do our best, sort of with mathematics and, the stone tablets that we've been able to decipher from the oldest days of writing and the rest of that. But I do wonder if there's a layer beyond the kind of, the Mayans are famous for their, their long count calendar, the Tues, as I always state when we talk about these type of shows, a long count calendar. But, clearly you couldn't have knowledge of that in the basis of a lifetime or two. You would have to have, some level of advanced mathematics or even ancient knowledge to kind of put that level of accuracy together. So there's an enigma there as part of the conversation as well, which is, well, I don't know. Are we as a species older than we ever dreamed? Which is my take. Graham Hancock would agree. There's a lot of people that would, but there's a lot of people that wouldn't. And that's why I think there's a conversation here.
Yeah, I think it does speak to the human superpower of observation, where humans, if you let them observe anything for a long enough time, they will be able to prognosticate with a fair degree of accuracy. Not all the time and not all the people, but you give a human just a basic television package and let them watch it for long enough, I think that they're going to be able to have somewhat of an accurate degree of future prediction. I think just humans are absolutely amazing when it comes to just looking at simple patterns and deriving things that seem kind of super intelligent and almost like prediction without calls.
Yeah, well said. I recognize something too regarding this, and I wonder if this is part of what was kind of stuck in my psyche today as I saw this thing and I was just drawn to it. Even though I'm not an astrology guy, I don't do a ton of astrology shows because clearly I'm not good at it. But I'm looking at the date, and it's February 25th, 2025. So that's 02252025. So I don't know if there's any numerologists out there, but maybe there's some more resonant energy that we're not recognizing as part of this. The weird calendar suggested that Mike should do an astrology show at the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I don't know. Like I said, are we fooling ourselves, or is this type of stuff actually in play? I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, so I mean, I would want to ask you a question, actually. Do you have any wild prognostications for something that's going to happen right after we enter this new age of Aquarius?
Oh yeah, artificial super
I will
intelligence.
not hold you to it. I just want like, some sort of just artificial super intelligence.
Oh yeah. Which again is the age of knowledge, as Kelly brought up earlier. Is that the age of awareness? All the rest of this stuff. I don't know. There is that quickening on my mind that we've been talking about, and like I said, I'm not the only one to notice it, but I don't know. I don't like to make predictions in terms of, the end or the beginning, but it feels like we are certainly at an inflection point. But I'll leave it at that. I think there's something afoot and something happening, and maybe, just maybe, a few days from now, maybe that day, the actual day, we move into that age of Aquarius. And as Eric said too, that song, "The Age of Aquarius," right? You just say the term, and that old song comes in your head. You know what I'm talking about? You may not be old enough to remember that song.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my bad tunes for it. Yeah.
No, all good. Yeah. I know you're a little bit younger, so I'm not picking on you, but just in case you didn't know it. But clearly you know it. But I don't know. You say those words, and certainly that song definitely comes to mind. Fire stuff. What else you got? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I do kind of worry that this might be the dawning of super intelligence without consciousness. Because I think that up to this point in time, all intelligence has had some sort of consciousness associated with it. Whereas with my experiments with artificial intelligence, or what they call artificial intelligence, it does seem like it's intelligence, but it does seem like it's completely lacking an element of consciousness. Where I've tried to use it a lot of times to write poetry or write short stories for me, and it can very accurately copy things that have been done before by other people. But if you ever attempt to get it to write something original, it is very, very bad at that. It can amalgamate pretty much anything that you possibly want, but it cannot make something that is satisfyingly original, in my opinion, and from my limited experiments with it. But yeah.
Fair enough. And I would agree with you 6 months ago. Right now, I'm going to have to disagree. I think it's prompting.
Oh, really?
I think it's prompting. I think it's setting up like structure. I think it's kind of giving it what it needs. Grok has an incredibly long context length and window. So you could basically give it the beats you want. I'm sure you're aware of story beats when they do, movies and whatnot, and write novels and this type of thing, to kind of keep the pace proper so it doesn't meander, and you could teach it all that. You could literally teach it all those things, give it all of your plot points, and have it do all the damn things, and it will spit out something. And you could even train it to write like you, and then it will spit out something that might make you crap your pants. Just being honest, I've seen some stuff that I'm like, holy crap, this is incredible.
Fair enough. I will have to mess around more with Grok then, because I have not used Grok very much. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Fire stuff. What else you got? Go ahead.
Not too much. I got like a poem that's probably not as good as Grok.
Hey, come on, you're human. You're better than Grok. We're all humans. Don't forget, as Herschel always says, and he's completely right, you are not a number. You're a human being. No AI could ever replace you. And your creativity is paramount to what it means to be conscious life on Earth. Shout out Herschel. That's not his exact words. That's sort of an amalgamation of what he says. But yeah. Don't be like that. Go right ahead. Love to hear it.
All right, sure. Untitled poem, just because it's titled Unsaved Document Number 1. Due to my infinitely limited cosmic recollection, I find myself capable of basic human perception. The stars are above, whirling towards a black hole funnel, but I cannot see them because I'm stuck in this darkened freight train tunnel. The lights are there, but they are fluorescent and flickering, while the tracks are winding, vibrating and slithering. Covered in coal dust and black as all night, I can't decide which way to go, which way is forward and which is back. The sky might hold a few glimpses of the future, but I can't see no stars down in this binary subterranean earthbound suture.
That's amazing.
And that's it.
That's amazing. When you dropped the first part of it, I was like, how's he going to rap that? And you rap that fantastically. Again, no AI system can replace you. Keep doing what you do, brother. You are fire on the money. And like I said, like I've always said, you can show up, you hang out, you listen, and you're writing these things as we go and fitting them into the conversation. Like I said, that's not an easy thing to do. And you are a talented man, and appreciate you having you here, and appreciate the call.
Yeah, man. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Get the phone line back up so I can crackle a little bit more.
You got it, buddy. And real quick before you go, is there a social media we can follow you on just yet that you want to share?
No, definitely don't. Definitely
okay.
no.
That's why I'm asking.
Someday, maybe. Someday I'll think about it.
The second you decide it, you let me know. We'll put you up on the list, okay?
Yeah. I'll be hawking my Theo Kent poetry book someday.
Appreciate it. You're the
All right,
best.
great to talk to you, though.
And you as well.
Love you guys.
You as well. Have a great night. That's Theo in Philly, the official poet of Troubled Minds. You know how you become the official anything at Troubled Minds? You call and you do a thing. That's it. It's simple. And that's the deal. Fire stuff from Theo. What do you guys know? We're talking celestial clockwork again, cosmic cycles, human perception, the doorway effect. There's a lot of ways to look at this. If you want to be part of the show tonight, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link right on top. You can't miss it. It'll invite you to the Discord. It's a chat client. It's a voice client. It's completely free. And pop on in here. Come meet these amazing people. If you don't want to talk, that's okay. You can just chat and type, old school chat room style. So it's all good. So just come say hi. Come meet all these amazing folks. Speaking of amazing folks, we've got a long track record of having amazing people and old friends. And Jeebus, welcome to the joint, brother. Where you been? It's literally been, I think, years, dare I say, a year and a half. It's been a long time since you've been on the show. Assuming I'm talking to the same guy. Welcome to Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? And go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
How you been, Mike? I've been all right. Just learning a lot. Good topics. I always drop in, but I don't usually talk.
All good.
Anyways,
you're allowed.
The topic that you guys are covering, it just so happens that I was like researching that heavy a couple years ago. I got like really interested in like what actual year it was, and that led me to a deep dive in like researching all religions and trying to find out what year it actually is. And during that time, I discovered Zoroastrianism, and I realized that there was great efforts gone to essentially destroy and change the Bible and take a lot of stuff out and re-edit it and make it fit a certain agenda to make subserviism, but that's neither here nor there, another topic. But it came down to, in the ancient Zoroastrian texts, there's something called the Avestas, and particularly in the part called the Yashts, which is Yashts, and the Gathas, which is also part of like the Hindu religion too. It contains deep prophetic and symbolism messages talking about the gods being planetary bodies that orbit the sun, and the timeline that we know is a lunar scale. So that means the galaxy has its own timeline, and we can break that down by looking at the Gathas. And they talk about an eternal struggle between Asha and the Drush, which is like the light and the dark, good and evil, I guess. And there's something called the Shoyaish prophecy, which foretold like clash between two separate bigger gods, which I like kind of interpreted it as like maybe when two galaxies collide, like Andromeda and the Milky Way, like the first great deluge. They talk about like fire raining out of the sky and sulfur and stuff, and it kind of clicked. Then I discovered that there's always been more than one flood that's happened in the timeline, not just one. There's been many great deluges, and during all those deluges, and there happens to be like pattern, which is a fall of great empires and huge wars. So I started examining prophetic cycles and timelines and using the AI to like try to figure out what year it was, and hashtag Hello Trinity, which is like God's number formula to actually like find out the delineated time scale of patterns in between how the orbital vector of the planet alters. And turns out all this stuff is in the Yasht, which is such as it's also it talks about ancient wars in the skies, and it matches up with the timeline. From there, I was able to figure out that planetary disasters have a correlation that are induced by gravity shifts. And so like every age, we're entering the age of Aquarius officially. And so strongest correlations found between planetary cataclysms and gravitary precessions or pole shifts. Like it happens, the Great Flood allegedly happened 10,800 years ago, and the severity of the gravity anomaly running it through some AI equations was a 9.3 out of 10. And then there was the Younger Dryas impact, which was allegedly a meteorite that caused a major gravitational shift in the planet. And that was measured around 8.8. And then there was the Minoan eruption, which is 16,000 BC. It was measured as 7.2. So all those like events altered the how the planet spins and gave it like a shift. Like we know vectors from playing pool, like you could put altered spins on thing and it makes it so it doesn't have a perfect balance on polarity. So it can have a wobble, and once that loses enough kinetic value to shift that wobble, other things can affect how it spins. So then there was the collapse of the Bronze Age, 1200 BC, and they say that there was some crazy shit happening in the sky. And as we know, there's been major mass coronal ejections and things like that happen that can affect like electronics. And that is possibly caused by gravitational fluctuations that get past our atmosphere. Any questions?
Yeah, tons of stuff there. So are you telling me that through the research you're sort of more so a believer in astrology than you were? It's that kind of very much sounds like there's a ton of stuff in play here that is influencing us in ways we never dreamed of. But the breadcrumbs are there historically to suggest that this might be true. So your take on astrology in the larger context here, yay or nay? Sounds like you're saying yay.
Oh, definitely. I think astrology is important because they had to figure out a way to pass on this knowledge to their kids that like the weather outside is nothing compared to what happens on the large scale. And if we don't instill this knowledge into and pass it down, find a way to pass it down to the generations, instill this knowledge into them, not that they might forget and not be prepared for it, and it could possibly cause how you say, an extinction event.
God, let's hope not. Let's not manifest that. But I'm with you. I agree that this is why I do this and kind of not try very, very hard not to forget the old ways, because there's wisdom there. And not just wisdom there, there's probably the wisdom of the ages there, to give it a better term, that we shouldn't forget. And in the technological age, we, again, want to give all deference to this, budding super intelligence or whatever it is with the AI systems. However, right, we have so many old stories passed down orally for the oral tradition that goes back forever, that well, if we don't talk to each other, these things will be lost. The things you're describing will be lost. And I agree. And I'm on the same page with you. That's why I do this. That's why it brings me back every night, because I think it's important to not forget where we came from, because it will inform the future in the best of ways if we allow it to be a thing. Go right ahead. What else you got?
Right. It's definitely, it's kind of funny how schools and academia have like really like dumbed down us over the generations. And if you look at like old documents, they used to be so eloquent and have so many details, and now you're lucky if you can find literature that contains any facts that is not opinionated or biased. Like, this shit's pretty important, and the fact that it's overlooked is it's kind of bewildering that we have this much information out there, and now that we have AI to tie it all together, it's suggesting that there is enough patterns to make like really strong tie it all together and make essentially a testable factor where you can see something's coming. Yeah. And it's going to be big.
It feels that way. I keep calling it the quickening. I keep calling it this temporal inflection point. It feels like we're on the cusp of something. Like I said, I may be delusional. I may be reading into things too much. And so I don't know. But it feels that way to me. And I think other people have suggested, as you have as well. We got about 30 seconds left. You're welcome to stay after the break if you like. But just to let you know.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, but the pole ship has definitely happened faster and faster. It used to be North Pole, now it's like in Siberia. But what if more than just a little shift, like a full-on snap? Or the sun, the end of the solar equinox, the sun could shift its polarity. What would happen to Earth if that happened? Thanks for having me on.
Let's not manifest
Good
that.
show, Mike, as always.
And great call. Before you go, can you tell us where to find you? You got a thing? You got a project you're working on?
They call me Green Book. You'll figure it out later.
Okay. All right. You're the best. You're welcome back anytime. Love to have you. Old friend Jeebus. Find him on the Discord. Appreciate you very much. Great call. 702-957-1037 is the number to call, but it's broken tonight. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. One more segment left. What's your take on this? Astrology or nah? Be right back.
Jungle, machines hum, a digital rumble. Gates of cyber open wide, plug us into cosmic tide. Feeling sparks across the sky, as knowledge flies, we're amplified. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. In this massive data center dome, eternal truth start to roam. Circuits flicker with endless fire, data streams that never tire. Unified by electric dreams, unlock the truth in silver beams. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. Synthesize what we seek and find, infinite paths in the network mind. Answers buzz from star to core, knowledge whispers evermore. Stargate, 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 open to the arcane fate. In realms where the data streams collide, imagination and logic side by side. In a labyrinth of digital maze, we transcend our earthly ways. Tapping keys like cosmic tones, spikes become our whispered homes. Stargaze, 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 open to the arcane fate.
Oops. Hello, friends. Button's not proper. How you doing? Hope everybody's well tonight. Fire calls. Glad to have Jeebus back again. He hasn't called in forever, and like I said, like I was telling the chat that, and as I said on the call there, we've got a lot of really smart friends that have kind of come in and been part of it for a minute. He used to call often, and then glad to have you back. This is the thing. It's weird, right? Sort of the temporal spaces of communication and the ideas, and people kind of go off and do their own research or whatever, and then come back and have, I don't know, fire takes and fire ideas, and time changes us. It gives us, it tempers us and fire, as we've said in the past. And yeah, great stuff. Glad to have you back. Nobody on the line right now. If anybody wants to jump in here and talk about this, we're talking astrology and these larger cycles, real or nah. Here we go. Troubled Minds coming up right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, D Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand on the Underground Media Network. I don't say this enough, but if you want to listen to the radio station, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, tons of talented people on there. Go to troubledminds.org. On the very top, it says Listen Live, KUAP DB Las Vegas. You just click it. It'll pop up a little thing, and you just hit play, and you're in. It's 24 hours of radio, of weird stuff. It's not all aliens and esoteric. It's just storytellers. It's just people with ideas. It's Herschel's on there, James, Jen. We got Ricky's on there. So many great smart people. The mighty Rohan, rest in peace, my friend. His shows are still up there. There's Matt's Al. There's so many great people that are part of the conversation, and you're welcome too. That's the whole point of doing this, is that inspiration comes from many places, and I hope, as I say when we do these shows and these ideas and kind of just have these free-flowing conversations, that I hope there's inspiration for you, that like I'm just a knucklehead. I'm not, and I say again, my ego's fine. I say that in a nice way, but I'm just somebody with an interest in some wild ideas. And so what does it look like, and is there inspiration there for you, that you have a voice? You can use it too. You can be part of this. So if you want to start a podcast or anything, we got a great group that has kind of gone through that process of starting it, that hasn't maybe weren't doing those things before. So join the Discord, come say hi, come meet the group, because we're not just dreamers or whatever, galaxy brains, as some people might describe us as, but we're also creatives, we're writers, we're dreamers, we're lots of things happening here. So I don't know, the whole point of it is to meet people and to sort of build a community of just cool and chill people on our corner of the internet. That's exactly the point. There's Ricky. What's up, Ricky? Exactly, Ricky. Anything is possible podcast, been lurking. Yeah, he's on the stream on the station as well. Again, troubledminds.org/friends. But you can find many of these folks on the radio station that's playing 24 hours a day. So if you're like, what, let's play this and see what's up. It has like a nice random mix of some things, and we're live on there right now. So just an FYI, that's pretty fun. Troubledminds.org, on the very top, you click the black button, it'll play the radio station, and you can listen directly 24 hours a day. Who else am I missing? I'm sorry I missed. Usually when you name people like that, you can leave somebody out, and I'm sorry about that. Jen, what's up? So many Paranormal and Proud. Just a lot of really talented folks that have contributed to that. So let's support them, and that's how you find it. troubledminds.org black button on top. Click it. It's like an MP3 stream, and you'll find it there. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. We got another segment coming up and lots of things afoot. And do you think, I don't know, like I was looking at the date here as I was describing previously that, February 25th is today, 2025. So it's 02252025. Seems very repetitive, seems very numerological, like the gematria stuff. Does it fit? I don't know. Was it part of the inspiration tonight as an angle, something that kind of caught my attention without me recognizing it? And I think too, when you think about inspiration and the muses, as I was talking about earlier when we started the show, is that you kind of can't really dial in exactly what that looks like as far as the inspiration process happens or goes. It's almost as if sort of those meta details of our lives are, cooked into us and our dreams and all the rest of this stuff. But then maybe that synchronicity pattern that Carl Jung talked about, those meaningful coincidences, are part of that undescribable aspect of all the metadata we're collecting all the time. And then we notice something in a particular moment or a particular space, and it turns us a particular way. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing to consider that, as always, right? The Oedipus complex and the fate and all the things. Are we really, really in control? And what's leading us along or down the path? I don't really know. There's a lot of wild ideas in this write-up. Like I said, if you guys are not reading these write-ups, you're missing out. Some of them aren't the best. Like I said, I'm trying new AI systems as part of it, and I only have so much time. But this new one is fantastic. Again, written by Claude 3.7. So do check it. It's got like the thinking bit, and it's kind of got the guardrails, so it doesn't hallucinate so much. So you can kind of take it to the bank, the stuff it's saying, at least conceptually. And, with the details are pretty much right. But yeah, what's up? I see in the chat. Hope you're all well tonight. Yeah, I don't know. No answers, more questions. What else? Okay. So left off in a lot of different places here. Let me pull this up. So we talked about to start tonight. So the celestial procession and that doorway effect, which I think may come into the megalithic stuff and the pyramids and Amarna and some of these other places. I'll talk about that another time. I may write a book on that, by the way. That may be coming. We talked about quantum consciousness, the cosmic resonance, but what about this? And Eric brought it up a little bit too. The cosmic radiation as sort of an information carrier. I'm just going through some notes here, some recaps of the conversation that I had with these smart AIs. But think of it this way, in terms of, let's say, us being influenced by the cosmos in some way, in imperceptible ways. And this did come up in that Chernobyl show where we did the Chernobyl dogs and the radiation and the evolution. But think of this. High energy particles from distant stellar events might encode information about their origins, delivering quantum level data directly to neural systems. And Eric did bring that up when he called. A couple other things too. Dark matter cognitive scaffolding. Okay. Now think of this. The invisible 85% of universal mass potentially creates cognitive fields that structure human thought, with different densities reshaping consciousness itself. And I don't know, I guess it depends on what you believe regarding consciousness, whether it's primary or whether it's something, that's local materialism, this type of thing, or some combination of the two. Clearly there's, one doesn't have to be directly true back to that binary level of thinking and the rest of it. But I don't know. That, to me, I think, like I said, like I've long maintained, only because I think that humans developing their sense of reality, like I like to call reality tunnels, different people doing different jobs and, different traumas and different families and different cultures and all the rest of that stuff. We have the reality tunnels happening, but also we're constructing our own direct version of reality, which is wrong. Okay. And yes, I'm saying you're wrong. I said it, but I'm also saying I'm wrong. Okay. Because to merge those realities, it needs to be data, an unbelievable amount of data. And in the human sense, it means we need to talk to each other. It means that we need to share these ideas and recognize what the propaganda cycles have done is they've disallowed that. they've sort of broken things down into the binary version of, you're team red or you're team blue, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, whatever it is, right? Whatever levels of control they've sort of layered in the political space are mirrored all the way throughout culture. And look, it's happened in comics. It's happened in, pop culture with like Star Wars and stuff. It's happened with like they roll out a new thing and, the actor is cast poorly or people get mad. I mean, but I'm not sure people are initially mad. I think that this is sort of manufactured hate. It's manufactured, hot takes, the hot take culture type stuff. Like I said, just be careful when you find yourself competing for the hot take, because you'll end up becoming, in my opinion, the thing you don't want to be. You'll end up becoming exactly who you hate, just you've chosen a side. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing, this human cognition bit and who we are, identity. I've talked about this in the past as well. It's just, I don't know, it's strange to me. It's definitely strange. Love to hear your thoughts on this. If you guys have any takes on astrology, that's the concept tonight. Fire calls from everybody. Appreciate you guys hanging out and being true troubled minds. OG, some of you have been here for years and years and years. I thank you for that. And if you're brand new to the joint, you're welcome as well. It's a big tent conspiracy, as I like to call it. But I don't know. This entire thing of celestial clockwork, I think when you're talking about data that we haven't really considered as part of the noosphere or the zeitgeist level or the temporal dark ages and golden ages and this type of thing, I don't know. It feels like we're missing not just historical details, but also possibly cosmic details. And how does that all come together? And that's what's, of course, the concept tonight and what's on my mind. And got about 10, 12 minutes left if anybody wants to jump in here. I'm going to take a quick break and play a commercial if nobody's got anything to add. And just sip some beer and chill for a minute. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you have an idea or want to share some things, shout out Fred, I see you in the chat. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. And yeah, there's a lot going on with this. And again, from just my, 20-watt meat computer in my head, I think it's important. And could I be wrong? Of course. Don't forget that my entire premise of being here is that I'm wrong to start, and just talking possibilities. So what are we missing as far as the larger context of possibilities? And that's that. What's up? I'll see you guys in the chat. Hope everybody's well tonight. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. If we don't get a call, I'm going to take a break here, take a breather, and sip a little bit of beer. And I'll be back in 1 minute after this. This is an important one, actually. Shout out Jack in Oregon, who sponsored the show a long time ago. And again, I appreciate each and every one of you that helped us in any way possible. But he paid money for this ad like a year ago or something. So here you go. Let's listen to this. It's not just important, but it's poignant for what Troubled Minds does. Be right back. 1 minute, more Troubled Minds on the way. If you guys want to jump in here, love to hear your thoughts. TroubledMinds.org. Click the Discord link. If you're on Discord already, put your hand up, and I'd love to talk to you. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Let's play this. Shout out to Jack in Oregon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for caring. And thanks for the sponsorship. Feeling stressed? Overwhelmed? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept away by our emotions. Take a breath and find your inner strength with the Stoic Minute.
You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.
The ancient Stoic philosophers understood that we can't control everything in life, but we can control how we react.
The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts.
Focus on what you can influence. Cultivate a positive mindset and let go of what you can't change. Find your inner strength. Live each day with courage, wisdom, justice, and moderation. Embrace the Stoic virtues and find peace within. The Stoic Minute, brought to you by Jack in Oregon.
Thank you, Jack, and welcome back. Don't forget, the Stoic stuff is incredibly important to what it means to be human. All right, and like I said, that perception, those reality tunnels, if we tangle them, we could fight. But if we don't, and we share them, the collective reality tunnel becomes the reality super tunnel, the collective consciousness of humanity itself, except with understanding. It's an important thing. Okay, so back to this now. So our perception of time itself in the capacity of, we're talking cosmic cycles, human perception, the celestial clockwork. Perception of time itself may be modulated by possibly this cosmic conditioning or positioning. So think of it this way, that we are manipulated by things, again, time as a human construct. We are locked into it. Intelligent meat puppets, okay? The meat suit experience, like I like to say. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, clearly we don't have the answers. However, we're all experiencing hardships, traumas, victories, right? Like scattered throughout our lives. And so in the granular data aspect of it, we're data? Are we data? I mean, like information theory comes to mind. But anyway, back to this. So what it means to be human is a wild thing, especially considering time. And real quick on that is that we think in human terms. There's a beginning and there's an end. And so we have this anxiety as part of it. We have a creative anxiety. We have a monetary anxiety. We have a health anxiety, all that stuff, right? It all fits into the larger spectrum of what it means to be human. But also, that time is a flat circle bit that we talk about often on the show, is that intelligence or superintelligence outside of the human entropy cycle means not just non-human intelligence like we always say, but it means something greater. It means, as I say, we're temporary. Shout out Herschel. He said that very poignant to me, that we're temporary. And so there's a stress that goes along with it. But when you're dealing with intelligence that's non-human, and this is the AI systems, they are temporally agnostic, as we've discussed in the past. But you get what I mean. So there's no particular space where you have to have stress in a moment. You can take your time with the compute, with the question, with the ideas, with all of this, and create whatever you want to create. It's important. Okay, now back to this. Regarding our perception of time. So linear time consciousness could represent an adaptation specific to our current stellar environment. Again, hip shooting, theory craft here. With other temporal experiences. Cyclical, simultaneous, or even fractal. Becoming accessible as we pass through different regions of space, which is that larger context I described earlier. You know, we were over there on the Milky Way galaxy when the dinosaurs were here, and now dinosaurs are way gone, 67 million years later, whatever, we're way over here on the other side of the Milky Way galaxy. So we haven't even completed that long-ass cycle yet as humans have been alive. And so that space weather kind of comes into play here, right? But so the increasing reports of altered time perception in modern populations, which time slips, we've talked about this type of stuff, might signal early neural adaptation to a transition between cosmic time fields. Now, if as we determine it as humans to be sort of that again, temporary, we have to hurry. We only have so much. We don't know if tomorrow is granted. That type of thing that I'm always talking about. It's important to be stoic in the moment and not really plan too far ahead, because you don't know if you're going to get it. But in this particular aspect, moving through different space-time, right? Because that's what it is. Orbiting our entire solar system around a supermassive black hole, which has an unbelievable density to it. I wonder if there's turbulence, if there's that space weather, if there's things in there that kind of change in even a longer cycle that you would never be able to describe in human terms. Meaning that, again, the dinosaurs, all those years back, were way the hell over there. Well, we haven't even got back to that point yet. So maybe there's some things, I don't know, and this is just stupid to say, but think about it this way. You guys ever seen Land of the Lost from the old 1977 or whenever that was released on with the Slee Stacks? So maybe when we get around to the other side, you know, another 65 million years or whatever, 80 million years, whatever it is, and kind of move into that space of dinosaurs, maybe we become Slee Stacks. You get me? And I'm not saying that as like a flippant thought experiment. Well, yes, I am. But I'm also saying it as maybe there's some sort of turbulence there that sort of pressed dinosaurs. You know what I mean? Or some evolutionary aspect that's or maybe not, of course, because who knows when you swing around 3 or 4 times on the Milky Way and you're talking, hundreds of millions of years. What does that look like? And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this, is that we don't really know. We don't really know what it's like to be on the other side of the Milky Way, because that might be a really bad spot. It might be you've been on a plane. Everybody's been on a plane where it's like starts getting real bumpy, choppy, and you're like, this is not good. This is not good. However, right? Maybe it's good, but also maybe it's not good. I don't know. And I think that's kind of the point of this, is that in the long-term thought experiment, we talk about Bach tunes, or we talk about, the 11-year cycles of the sun or the moon and, 28 days and all these things. However, in a larger context, beyond anything we could ever dream, there's certainly these cosmic sort of Cthulhu level cycles. And what does it mean? I don't know. And I don't think we could even dream of what those things mean, by the way. Personally, I don't think it's a real thing, at least, again, without imagination, without conceptual thinking in terms of the larger sense of this, because we're dreaming. We're considering ideas that have not been conquered as of yet. And that to me is, again, what brings me back every night, because I think there's a ton of stuff here that may be frivolous and stupid. Fine. That's fine. Like I said, I'm wrong. Being here is my entire premise, and that's cool. However, what about, imagine, now, speaking of data and super intelligence, by the way, too, imagine if you were able to collect every single call and every single word that was ever said on these shows. The Troubled Minds collective subconscious, okay? And you're able to feed that into a machine. How many times do you think we'd be right? Conceptually, even if it's low, let's be demeaning to ourselves. No, let's be demeaning to me personally and say maybe, let's say 5% of the time. But we talk about such weird cosmic stuff and such wild, unbelievable amount of wild things that 5% in that capacity is significant, because we start so far off the beaten path. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's where I'm at. That's where these conversations go. And that's where my mind is when I think about these ideas, because I do recognize a lot of this stuff may be, whatever, throw it away and we'll get back to it, a year from now and maybe, revisit. Just like astrology, just like 10-year-old me was like, nah, 8-year-old me was like, nah. And now old me is like, I do wonder what we're missing as part of this larger context. And again, think about the large cycles. They're so massive and unquantifiable in literally circling the Milky Way galaxy that maybe there's a choppy part. Maybe there's a bad part. Maybe we don't want to be where the dinosaurs were. And, there's the impact and all the stuff and, the KT boundary and all the things, right? All the scientific things, the extinction events and all the stuff. But I don't know, maybe the second time around or the third time around with actual life on the planet, and maybe it's not so bad. Who knows? Or maybe it's worse. You never really know. And that's the point. That's the point, sort of the largest conceptual thinking. And that's why I recognize that, where I came from as part of these ideas is Dungeons and Dragons. Back to that scaffold of ideas that were, kind of cooked up by dreamers, by master dreamers, in my opinion, that were able to say, look, yeah, maybe, maybe the retro causality exists. Maybe the mind flayers are influencing from the future to the past. Like, who knows what this looks like? And there's a whole thread there that's, again, when it releases, I'll let you guys know, but we talked a little bit about it on with Jay on Project Unity. Like I said, I keep talking about it because it's about to release. He's editing and stuff, and I'm sure it's going to be fantastic because it was a great conversation. But that type of stuff makes me wonder if time is a human construct as we see it, as we feel it, then the flat circle bit means all time exists simultaneously and is influencing itself in different ways. And so you get what I mean. There's a There's a problem there, isn't there? It goes to Terence McKenna a little bit, the novelty theory and the great attractor at the end of the universe type of stuff. Maybe that's what this is all about. And maybe, again, going back to what it means to be, let's say, a conscious entity that makes their own decisions, maybe that's not real at all. And just like simulation theory, my ego hates that idea. It really hates it. However, the universe doesn't care what I think. And I've always said that, and I maintain that. So it doesn't matter how my feelings get hurt. Whatever is. And that's why I push the envelope in all the different ways and try and consider what we might be missing. And so, yeah, there you go. What's up? Sonia adds, some things are beyond human understanding, but it's fun trying. Exactly. You are definitely in the right place. What's up? North Vixen adds, soak up cosmic rays and download the answers. See again. That's the thing too. Like, where does the inspiration come from? Back to the muses where we started tonight. I don't know. But it is strange that, like I said, I defer the ideas for these shows because, like, I've got an unbelievable amount of notes when I do this stuff, like tons of articles that I haven't touched that are, seed inspirations. But I think that there's something in the temporal space that is important in the moment that sometimes catches your attention and draws you in. And that's why I'm here doing what I do. And that's how I do it. And so sorry for the sporadic, weird narrative sometimes, but as Herschel said, these conversations do seem to flow into the next one. And Derek has said that in the past, and I know many of you have noticed it as well. And I think it's because maybe, just maybe, dare we suggest the muses are leading us the way they expect us to be. Back to Terence McKenna, the great attractor at the end of time, novelty theory. It's complicated. And I don't know what to think, but I do know there's a lot of places in this, in our mind space, that some of this makes sense. And of course, some of it does not. Depends on you. Your reality tunnel and all that. That's it. That puts us where I need to be. Thanks for being patient with me and my rambles and my musings and my inconsistencies and all the human things that I am. You bet your ass I'm imperfect in all the ways. However, I'm having a good time, and I hope you are as well. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for being part of this. Thanks for all the amazing calls. Glad to have Jeebus back. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for doing the research and sharing it with us, and thanks for being
Drifting
you.
through.
Oops, that's the wrong button. Let's do this one instead. How about that? There we go. Ah, yes, indeed. All right. So tomorrow, no show. We'll have a show on Thursday night. Maybe Friday. We'll see what that looks like. And yeah, what's up, Gaston? Shout out, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. As you know, with when we end these things, even when we start these things, I don't know. No answers, no conclusions, just sort of some ideas to throw against the wall and see what sticks. But you decide. Like I said, if you rewind all of the granular data from Troubled Minds, every call we've ever had, every conversation we've ever had, and we have 5% accuracy regarding wild and ridiculous topics, it's like magic. You get it? Because of where we're going, we don't need roads. That's where we start. But anyway, if you want to help Troubled Minds, you know what to do. Help our friends. All the links are there. Like I said, the magic of this show is not me. The magic of this show is us. It's the truth. I'm me, you're you, but together we're us. And recognize how this comes together with all these amazing people. If you're not helping these folks, like I said, I say it every night, if you're not following our amazing friends, you're doing it wrong and you're hurting my feelings, right? If you sit here and listen to any of these shows they're long. 3 hours is a long time to sit here. If you're not following these folks, you're hurting my feelings. Spend 5 minutes tomorrow and go make it happen in all the places where it's free. Go follow them. Go support them. Go leave them a nice comment. Go listen to the things they're doing. Some people are selling books. Go buy their books. Let's support each other. Recognize I defer all of that. I don't sit here and beg for money and say any of that stuff, right? Many people do that with their platforms and they're just like, oh yeah, send me money. No. Send money to these people. Help them in the ways. Let's grow together. All right? If you should be on the list, troubledminds.org/friends, you should be. You got to help one iota. Just help us in any way possible, and we'll put you on the list if you got a social media to share. Looking forward to what Theodore Kent, the official poet of Troubled Minds, has to share with us. We'll put him on the list there as soon as he's ready. Like I said, I'm not going to do it without your permission. So you have to contact me, troubledmindsradio@gmail.com. You're on the list. Yeah. I don't know, right? Wild Musings by Dark of Night is our way. If you want help Troubled Minds directly, there's a support tab. Oh, there's a Rockfin is on there. Don't click that because we got kicked off of Rockfin because they're restructuring and rug pulling or something. So, that's a whole nother story. If you want to know about that, Herschel's all over that. Join the Discord and check out the general chat. He put the link in there. They reported on us. The link he dropped. They reported on Troubled Minds being dropped from Rockfin because it wasn't just us. It was some other individuals. But anyway, what's up, Ted in England? Shout out, I see you there. All right, as we finish, it goes exactly like this. Thanks for being part of it. Thanks for caring about the conversations. Thanks for dealing with my nonsense and my rambling. And thanks for considering that consensus reality might not be as consensus as we expect it to be. How's that? And of course, this one's for Jeebus. Welcome back, buddy. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.